Hello, everyone, and welcome to the debut of the Eternal Tournament Series Team League, which is going to be running its first ever matches today. I'm your host, aReNGee, and I am all over the place today, as I am not only going to be casting this event, but also producing it and doing the tournament organization behind the scenes. So I don't do a lot of production, so I apologize for any of the hiccups. Our regular producers are not available today, but we wanted to get this going as soon as possible so that you guys could enjoy it. So if it's a little rough, we're working out the kinks. It's the first time for me, and it's the first time for it too. Joining me in the booth is ExKirby, who's come all the way from London, I believe, to be with us today.
York, close enough.
Close enough.
It's in England, right? It's close enough as far as most people care.
Yes. So we haven't done a ton of practice here, but what we do have for you today is a set of some very exciting matches again with some very good teams. We're going to be leading off with Eternal Warcry versus SPG Destiny. Warcry is sort of the lesser known team out of the two, as Destiny is built off of the Seek Power Gaming base, which has a lot of well-known players that you've seen in other ETS events. Warcry, some of them have been making some waves recently, but certainly not as storied a team as that. After that, we're going to be going with O&D Feather, a team with two invitational champions, and Team Titans are going to be playing, and then we're going to be ending it off with O&D Flame versus SPG Echo, which again, two absolute titans of the teams. Flame's very well known, and Echo has a lot of well-known players as well. So, looking at our first match, we've got our team card here for the lineups. So, ExKirby, you want to run through the lineups for today?
Yeah, sure. So this is Warcry versus Destiny first. Yeah. So Eternal Warcry is going to be running off with Tatsumaki on Chalice Control, and as a secondary, they have Notorious GHP on Fell Midrange and Darkness on Stonescar Burn. Their opponents, Destiny, have Bradykin on Fell Control, and with backups on is Hythar on Big Combre and Child Roland on Stone Scar Aggro or Burn Queen or whatever you want to call it. It's the kind of Stone Scar that goes face and does a billion damage. We all know it.
Yeah, so Burn Queen was certainly a popular choice for a lot of players or a lot of the teams to include in their lineups there. You know, it's generally considered to be the best aggressive deck at the moment, and it just basically won two invitationals or two weeklies in a row. So it's in the forefront of a lot of people's minds and was a popular pick. Feln is an interesting choice. It's not something that a lot of people bring to invitational tournaments and stuff like that, but it seems like the teams here wanted to round out their rosters a lot with something a little bit more controlling, and some teams felt like Chalice were going to be targeted. Eternal Warcry did end up bringing Chalice, which I believe they said was the best deck.
It's the best deck, but it does have some very bad matchups. Most notably, obviously, Felon Control. The as Nell's Gift completely ruins you if it comes in on the sideboard, and the pre-board matches are still pretty good because most of the threats you can just bring back with Avara, and suddenly the board states are pretty equal. And obviously, Island's Choice just completely dumps his channel.
Well, that's the matchup that they're walking into here. Both
Yeah.
teams have to lead off with the team with the players that they've put first, and then they will be able to choose their next players. So, we didn't actually discuss this at the beginning, so let's talk about how the Team League format actually works. The teams are playing all together with all six members usually involved, but only three of them is active. They're playing in a best of 5 sets against one another. So their leads, Tatsumaki and Bradykin, are going to face off each other in a best of 3 match, just the same as you've seen in all the tournament series so far. Regular best of 3, sideboarding after game 2, etc. And the winner of that match will stay on and get a win for their team, and the loser will be eliminated. The losing team, be it Destiny or Warcry, will pick one of their two other players to come in and face them, and then it will continue that way until one team has won 3 matches. So you cannot be eliminated without having all of your players play, but I mean, it's possible for a lead to sweep the entire group if they don't lose. So it'll be interesting to see the counter picks that come into play in the second round, especially as teams try to jockey for a good matchup. Like we might see the Burn Queen come in if Tatsumaki on Chalice Control does end up beating Bradykin.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Warcry's lists here, I'm not entirely sure they have a really, really great matchup versus Felon Control, but we'll have to see. Maybe Chalice will be able to pull it out, but currently I'm not convinced.
Let's pull up the list then, since you've given us a good transition there. We've got the Chalice list in front of us and Bradykin's Felon Control. Chalice looks pretty regular, I think, pretty similar to a
Yeah,
lot of the Chalice lists out there. Notably, it does have the protects in the sideboard, which
yeah,
could end up coming in handy in case of that. Azendel's Gift does come in, but if you look over to the other side, they're all in the sideboard for now, so they'll be able to match up.
yeah. One thing I would like to point out: the Great Parliaments are all on the sideboard of Tatsumaki. What I'm concerned about is Redkin is running mainboard. He's running Island's favor. He's also running. Oh, I thought he was running. Well, he's got his backlashes in his sideboard at the very least. What I'm concerned about is without those Great Parliaments in his mainboard, I don't know if he's going to have the gas to be able to finish the match.
Well,
Because
usually Chalice, when they're running this sort of strategy, isn't strictly relying on the channels against a lot of the more controlling decks, just making an army of 4X's. It grinds down the controlled X resources, but there are a full 4 Veras in Bradykin's Felon Control list, so this is a very high-end list.
yeah, and also Talon Control can just make the old DIY board wipe with Withering Witch and Black Sky Harbinger, or Storm, I think, is in the main boards.
Yep.
I'd have to look again.
Yes, there's also Storms there.
Yeah.
Plus, Bradykin's running the full package of 4 Champion of Cunning, so we've got a pretty greedy main board just out of Felon Control. So it looks like he was looking to catch Chalice on the hop.
Yes. That's another problem I have with running Great Parliament in the sideboard. You're going to have a bad time against champions. But we'll have to see what happens. It might just be the case that he gets the old Pop Aegis into Vanquish, but we'll have to see.
All right, well, let's get down to the match then and see how it actually goes as we step into our first match of the games today.
And I don't know if I like the hand Brady mulled into here. He's got a lot of power, but his only action is, well, I guess it's versus Chelsea. You don't really care about going off on the guns. But only having the Steward of the Past to try out on turn 4 seems a bit slow.
Yeah, well, power drops are the name of the game here, as always.
Yeah. The Champion of Cunning does make this a lot better. He's not going to be able to double activate, or at least get to 5 in one of his factions yet, but he's going to be able to certainly work towards that, especially with, again, the double Seeks. Meanwhile, Tatsumaki not got the immediate chalice, has the Kothon, which I presume comes out here. Oh no, it doesn't come out, it's tap power, never mind. But he's going to probably want to bring that out. Or maybe he plays the Initiate. It depends whatever power he plays, he's probably lean towards that. It doesn't matter because he can just make it back next turn.
Yeah, he's depleted on 2 and a little bit light. He's got his high end with the channel, but as with all decks in Chalice, in the control mirrors, they're really just looking to get an early Chalice and start grinding them down.
Yeah.
So for the moment, Bradykin's hand looks like it's a little bit more set up. He's got his big threat in the champion. He's got the Vera to bring it back. No gifts in the main board, so that's not a major consideration, but he's got the better power flow.
Yeah. The draw there does actually find the chalice. So that's going to be good. He can't play it immediately. I'm just looking at what this Temple Scribe draws. Okay, just find the power. So it's going to come out in 2 turns. So then I'll be able to actually get the card engine going. Bradykin doesn't really have a good response to Chalice main board, I don't think. Except from just beating a guy in the face. So we'll see. He needs to certainly work on his influence requirements to be able to get there. He's not cracked the second seek power yet, so I think he's leaning towards using it to try and build up the champion's influence once he's got more power in his hand.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go just on 2 and 2. The primal is definitely the more important. You want to get that the Aegis out there as soon as possible because there's Desert Marshals and Vanquishes and whatnot lurking in Tatsumaki's list. You really don't want to get your champions silenced, since then they're a lot worse when they come back from Vera. So it's sort of a game here if Brady can bait out the silences with other cards, and then be able to get real good value out of multiple runs. Because as we know, bringing back something with Aegis means a lot of card investment from your opponent.
Yeah. So there's the Kothon down from Tatsu. Presumably the Chalice is going to come out after to follow it next turn. Predakin's probably just either playing the Seek Power here or he's playing the Steward. I don't see. Yeah, he says he's going to just play the Steward. The past force Tatsumaki to basically hold his ground.
Well, we're going to be settling in for a pretty long match as players are just going to be building up. But with that Chalice on 4 and basically no pressure coming out of Bradykin, I think Tatsumaki is going to be able to draw a fair amount of cards and bring that channel to bear actually pretty quickly.
He's on 5 already. There's a very real possibility he does just combo off channels here if Brady can't do something soon. Yeah, he's going to have to force the Seek Power here. You don't really want to burn I mean, I guess it is worth using Feeding Time or Death Strike on the Kothon, just because if it does make an owl, that's 2 cards you have to then deal with, and the Feeding Time will come out. But the problem with Chalice is that it's bad card tribally. It's not full of cards you really want to be using big removal like Feeding Time and Death Strike on.
But on the other hand, there's also no prime removal targets in the deck either, so it doesn't really matter if you're using your removal on junk, since the Chalice deck is just all junk that they then buff up and turn into real cards.
Yeah, and I guess with no threat of battles in the main board, it does feel a bit better knowing that you do basically have pretty much free control of the skies. So
yeah, it's a little bit weird here. Tatsumaki is going to have a tough time just punching through all the stuff that this high-end Felm deck has. So it feels like his big win game plan is like channel face 3 times. And it's just, does he draw those cards before Brady can get something going?
What I'm really concerned about here is if, I guess Tatsumaki does have 2 marshals in hand, but if a Black Sky Harbinger comes down and it goes unanswered for a couple turns, that's going to be a lot of life gain for Brady, and it might just take him out of range of channels.
Yeah, usually life totals don't matter too much in control mirrors, but if this does end up just turning into a channel burn fest, it could be, very significant, the life total difference. Obviously, channel decks or Chalice decks do play a fair amount of life gain themselves, so that could be. We could be in for a long one.
I don't doubt we're going to be here for quite some time, but I'm just concerned about the channels not being enough, and if Bradykin is able to establish the board state. The problem I see with that, though, is that there's still another Desert Marshal in the hand, there's still another harsh rule. Well, not another harsh rule, just a harsh rule. Black Sky Hammer is going to have a hard time coming down, and Bradykin's not got the influence of Champion of Cunning just yet, so he can't force anything. So it's just going to be a grind fest until Bradykin finds... I think he's just going to hold it until he hits his 5th Primal, or Tatsumaki hits 8 power, whichever happens first, then we actually see some real action. As Tatsumaki's got the Desert Marshal up here, he's thinking about it. I don't know if it's worth it, because you're still 2-for-1ing yourself.
Well,
okay, it just takes a 3.
Tatsumaki, he really needs to conserve his silences, as he's got, I believe, 6 between 4 Desert Marshals and 2 Curators is his total, because there are a lot of cards that you do want to silence. The Veras, you don't want those coming back when a second Vera comes down. The Champions, you don't want those coming back. So he's got 8 silence targets, and he's already used Desert Marshal, so he's down to 5 numbers, which means
he does have 2 in his hand, so I can see using 1 there, but not in that state, because either you silence it and you still take the 3, or you double block it, you lose 2 cards, you lose a silence, and you don't get a Chalice target. So yeah, just taking the 3 is probably the best choice there. Tatsumaki is actually making power here. He's going to swing in, try and get Brady a bit lower before he starts flinging channels, but...
And that's just going to take one of the extra removal spells out of the hand, and then we'll just see a block here.
Yeah.
Tatsu is one power away from channel, and there's been no Islands favor yet, so that'll be a 8 damage channel, I think, which is a good start.
6. I think it's more. I don't know. I'm gonna actually wait to see what it is. I can't do maths. It's going to be a fairly significant channel, though.
Mhm.
8 sounds about right.
Yeah, and that's a very good start to lead into a 3-channel death. On the other hand, Bradykin is just a single primal sigil away from playing Champion of Cunning. I do still think that you hold it off until you get to the extra primal.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, if you're breaking, I don't hate just trotting out the champion here. It's not ideal, but it does force your opponent to not play channel or have to deal with a shadow active champion of cunning, which is pretty significant. So it does buy you a turn in that regard, or it forces the channel to the champion. Of course, Tatsumaki does have the Desert Marshal in hand, so it's not ideal, but it's not the strictly worst play in the world.
Yeah,
But
I still think the plan is just if you force the Aegis, they only have so many cards to pop that, and then it gets harder and harder with their silence economy, and with the
yeah,
Vera in hand, just bringing it back with the Aegis is really what
pretty
you're looking for.
significant. Yeah, yeah. Tatsu's probably just throwing the channel face there. I don't see anything else in his hand that's worth trying out at this point. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage channel, I think.
I think 8 after he plays the power, but I imagine that'll be the play
3,
this turn.
4, 5,
Yes,
6.
he does have the primal. I've been fooled by that before. And
But yeah, I'm looking at his hand. Your only real other players use Archive Curator on Steward of the Past, which just seems not ideal.
yeah, not as
Steward
good.
of the Past isn't really a fact you care about in that. Yeah, there's the channel, and it goes face, and it hits for 9.
Oh, you were right.
And then just an extra 3 damage to face. So breaking down to 12 here. So the channel strat is go, but Breaking does find the Black Sky Hammer, so that's going to slow it down significantly. Tatsu does, more importantly, find the second channel, though.
And it is worth mentioning that Tatsumaki is getting kind of low here. This
Oh,
attack
yeah,
is going to take him down to 10. Black Sky Harbinger, assuming it gets cast, is going to bring
it's
him
going
down to 9.
to yeah. There's no way you don't cast Black Sky there. I think, okay, the question is, as Tatsumaki, do you just go for the face burn plan, or do you actually have to deal with this Black Sky Harbinger? Because if you don't, it's going to get you 3 next turn. So Breaking would be about 6-ish after damage and healing is done.
No, I think you got a harsh roll here. There's too much stuff on the board, and the
Yeah,
problem is the Harbinger healing is actually really bad when you're on the burn plan.
yeah. The question is, do you then also commit the silence to the Black Sky Harbinger, knowing your opponent is running? Is it 3 or 4 main board Vara?
It's the full 4. So yeah, that actually is a real question. There is a line where you just say, I don't care about the champion, I'll kill it as many times as it takes. All I care about is life gain, because we're playing the burn deck. And here we do see the silence.
So that'll be Banner. Oh, okay. He's using Chalice. I guess that's okay, because once the Black Sky Harbinger has been silent stuff, you don't really harsh roll. Why am I surprised by that? So now it's just a vanilla 3/5. Life gain is going to be coming. Tatsumaki does unfortunately miss a turn of burn, but he does have. He doesn't really have great blocks. But he will be able to live at least for 1 turn. So he might be thinking, okay, I can just whatever he commits next turn, I can just harsh roll it off.
Yeah, he might be just on the chump chump harsh roll plan and just looking for the extra card draw there. The island's favor that he's holding in hand, not super useful against the majority of Bradykin's deck. I don't believe
it counters Death Strike, it counters Speeding Time. That's it, I think.
Yeah, spell wise, it's not the most useful. There's no channels up in Bradykin's list.
Yeah,
That's
the problem with
interesting.
Feln is it's 3 attack tribal basically. Okay,
So here's our witch.
That's actually that's going to be good. Fuck, Tatsu's going to go down 2 here. No, I can't do maths. That's 1. He's going to go to 1.
Yes.
I know Tatsumaki does have the Desert Marshal hand. He's going to have to commit it here. There's no way you go to 1 here.
And then you're just dead to Vera's favor and
Yeah. Vara's favor, Black Sky Harbinger. No, the Black Sky Harbinger got silenced. Never mind. So yeah, he's going to instead go at 4, and I think there's no way you don't play a harsh rule here.
Yeah, choosing not to harsh rule last turn did open him up to this kind of strategy where the blockers are cleared and you crash in, because unlike some of the other matchups, Feln does have this one-sided board wipe in the Withering Witch plus either Harbinger or Lightning Storm combination, which you do need to be concerned about. Whereas
Yeah.
Tatsumaki was trying to be a bit more aggressive with his plays, and he's got a bunch of life gain here, so he's still kind of stabilized, but he did drop dangerously low there. I mean, going down almost to 1.
I mean, he's out of silence in hand, isn't he? Just looking at his
Yes.
hand. Yeah. So like this Black Sky Harbinger is probably going to have to go unanswered for a while.
He can channel it if he wants to, but he
Yeah,
doesn't
but
want to
if you're
do
doing
that
that,
either.
Yeah, it's not a great position to be in. The Black Sky Harbinger will come down. Tatsu goes to 6. He's got a 2-turn clock staring him down. And the Vanquish doesn't kill it. The Island's Favor doesn't kill it. Island's Choice doesn't kill it even. It's going to have to be channeled on top deck here. And okay, top deck Harsh was pretty good, and he will actually just channel the Black Sky Harbinger. And this is bad because now I think if I'm Brady Ken, I'm just go, okay, I just play this Vara and bring it back. Holy shit! I just saw Tatsu's draw. That's all 3 remaining harsh rules in his hand. Oh my god.
Well, unfortunately, that's not really what he's looking for.
No, but it's fine though, because Breaking does need to. He doesn't have any burden from in hands really, unless you count Black Harbinger, which I certainly don't. If any board state that Breaking puts up here, just find the Aegis for this champion. So that's gonna come down here. But anytime that he presents lethal, Tatsuku's go, okay, I just play a harsh rule, and it's fine.
Well, with the Aegis, that gets a lot harder because it turns 1 card into 2, and
yeah, but the thing is that the champion is the one card that you do actually can hit with the Vanquish.
Yes,
whatever.
and
So that's
the
not
and the
too
Vara.
bad. Yeah. Well, Vara, you're just harsh ruling off anyway. But the Vanquish is now live. It does actually kill this champion. Okay, double Vanquish comes down. Ooh. All right, now the champion becomes super good.
Yeah. Now Tatsu's on the clock because
Tatsu might just be dead on board, I think, because Brady King just plays Vara, brings back Champion of Cunning. Tatsu, oh no, he's not dead on board. He can harsh rule and hold Island's Choice, but that is not a play you want to be making.
Yeah. If Tatsu can outlast just this first Vara, there isn't anything backing it up in Bradykin's hand just at the moment. So it's potential that he can stabilize, but I think a second threat, like another champion or a Vera, is going to end the game quite quickly.
Yeah. So Tatsu's, I think it's just harsh rule hold Island's Choice or double harsh rule if you really think you can get away with it. But
Island's Choice doesn't really have any other targets. Is the other problem.
It does find the backlash, which isn't
also not so good in this matchup.
And it can counter Island's Favor if you really want
if you're looking for the burn plan,
yeah, looking for the channel plan, you can just counter the Island's Favor. It's not terrible. It can also counter Death Strike and Feeding Time. Still, it can counter the removal. Beyond that, it's better, but it's not great. Today's base will come in, so at least one harsh will be played here. Brady can. I think he blocks this, right? Like he does have to read this is a harsh rule. I can just commit to this.
Yeah. No. You can't lose any more life. You're already at 9, which honestly is single channel territory.
Yeah. Like just looking at Tatsu's hand, that is channel is death. But like, there's no way you take that damage. Like even if you were higher health.
So
like that's obviously so obviously a harsh rule. It's not even close.
Yeah. So I imagine we'll see Island's Choice be the card of choice, so to speak. There, pun unintentional. But
pun completely intentional, dude. Yeah. Okay. So Bredykin must realize something's up here, but I think you have to waste space the face anyway. Yeah.
You don't gain too much by holding back. I don't think. unless you want to boost your steward a couple of times. But I think if you pass like that, you just get harsh ruled again a
Yeah.
lot of the time.
I mean, there is an argument to be made post-board for holding back, because you do have backlashes in your sideboard. If he decides to pull those in, he can just wait for a backlash, counter the island's choice, but obviously without those, there's no point in holding back. So yeah, there's the Combra Healer, takes Tatsu back up to 9, so he's relatively safe.
Oh.
It's not the best situation, but it's not strictly the worst either.
Before I thought Tatsumaki was in a lot of trouble, but now he's in a pretty good position. The first channel will be lethal, which means he's only a single card away from winning the game, and he's got a pretty nice health buffer now.
Yeah, and just also having the extra heart, like finding those 3 harsh rules when he did was pretty critical.
Yeah,
Because now I don't see a really reasonable way for Bradykin to pull this one out, unfortunately.
and despite a single Vara will do a lot, and well, I guess drawing Channel the Tempest for 10 off the top is probably going to do it. Yeah. All right.
When in doubt, win the game.
When in doubt, top deck. All right, so let's go down to the sideboards.
Yeah, I know that Tatsumaki has pre-boarded this with his team while we were setting up. I didn't see what he put in, but I do know he has cards. So I think he had time to just prepare this one. He has access to several important cards. I do like having the backlash for those Channel the Tempest. The Azenel's Gifts have to come in as well, I feel. I think you can probably get away with boarding out some of your removal as well. It is bad card. Oh, they have gone into game by looks of it.
No, trying to. Bradykin is still choosing his sideboard. No. All right, he's found it. All right, so we're back in game. These players know what they want. It doesn't look like the Channel deck is going to have changed, or the Chalice deck is going to change too much, as I didn't see too much in the sideboard to change it up.
Let me just have a look here.
Oh, right. I forgot that I'm on the in-game spectating. Sorry to the stream. We'll get right back in there.
Yeah, Auric Runehammer. I think you might maybe want Great Parliaments in just as a way to deal with the champion outside of getting ridiculous with your harsh rules. Auric Runehammer you can't board in because it's 4 versus the 5 health tribal Feln. Backlash is.
Oh yes. Yes, he has he's probably brought in the Great Parliaments. The rest of it is there. I imagine out of the Feln deck we will see the Azendel's Gift and some of the backlashes coming in.
Yeah, Gift backlash, maybe Extract as well if you think you can get them off before the Channel, but not Channel the Chalice. Why do you have 2 card names like that so close together verbally? It makes no sense. Either way.
Just so that you can shove them both in a deck.
Yeah. Bradykin's actually been able to go shields up here. He's got the Island's Favor, and okay, Tatsumaki doesn't have a counter spell up anyway, but even if he did, he was only on 1, so he couldn't counter it. So Bradykin will be able to deflect the first Channel that comes out, because I don't think he has anything else in his deck that pops Aegis on phase. No, I don't think so. Okay, no, if he boarded in Backlash, he probably kept in Backlash. He can Backlash pop Aegis, but.
It's a shame you can't point Combra Healer at players.
Yeah, that would be just casual heal 6,
But yes, Aegis here is a lot better than it is against Feln decks, where Feln has stuff like Steward and Vera's Favor to pop it. Which means that even though Tatsumaki has this Island's Favor, he doesn't necessarily want to use it too early on. Because as we can see, both Vera's Favor and Steward are both in Bradykin's hand, and Steward's a very natural play on 4.
Yes. I think if you don't think you're drawing into anything you're going to play, I like holding Island's Favor until your opponent's on 6, where they can go. You're definitely sure you're not going to get Azendel's Gifted immediately next turn. I mean, obviously, if you need power, you will have to cast it, but Tatsumaki does have the Chalice in hand, so he should be okay for his draws, and he's also found an Amber Acolyte to go with it.
So there were a couple protects in Tatsumaki's sideboard if the Chalice deck was worried about that gift.
I don't think I don't think you worry about enough to bring in Protect. Protect is very good, but beyond as an Elder Gift, I guess it does protect against the removal as well. I'm not entirely sure I like it enough in Chalice though, because there's not really enough beyond your own face worth protecting, except for maybe owls.
Yeah, it's specifically for those
Yeah.
gifts, so it depends on how much you are worried. There are 2 in Bradykin's list, so it's
Do you
not a
board both of them in?
non-factor.
He probably boarded both of them in. I don't see why he
I
just boarded the
imagine.
one.
This is the
Yeah.
matchup they're for, right?
Yeah, and you're also running no omens, so I think running 2 is the sensible choice.
But here, Bradykin's got double Vara and Champion of Cunning.
He's gonna be able to go to 4 primal, 4 shadow, just with that hand. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and Bradykin and Tatsumaki has 2 channels, but there's an Aegis in play, so
Yeah, so
bit of back and forth there.
like, so Bradykin, I think it might be worth going double Vara's favor here. Oh, that Feln banner gives him a double activated champion.
Yeah, that gives him almost on curve Aegis champion.
It's going to be a turn 8 double activated champion. That is absolutely no turn. I could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be on 8.
Yeah, I'm done.
Which will be right on time for Vara to bring it back.
Yeah, that is filthy. So yeah, the Amber Acolyte gets pinged with Vara's Slave. The question is, does he throw the second one face now, or does he hold it? He chooses to hold it. He doesn't have the gift yet. He doesn't need to worry about that face Aegis until later. If he gets 9 power, he can just go Vara's Favor gift in the same turn, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I imagine the second one will. He just tossed it to kill an Acolyte
killing
this time.
Yeah, killing an Acolyte before he gets channel buffed is pretty nice. Not channel, Chalice. God damn it.
So here, I think Tatsu wants to play Chalice and just use it. He just wants to get that card draw. He doesn't have any answers in hand for an activated champion.
I don't hate using the Wisdom Elders and just holding up Desert Marshal here, or just playing Chalice and holding up Desert Marshal. I'm gonna get my cards right at some point. But no, he just chooses to activate the. He chooses to activate the Kothon.
That's the best value plan for the long term, but I think you just want to get power for your channels here, and with no removal in hand, that's a scary proposition. One which I think will be fairly punished by this champion.
Yeah, no, Bradykin just goes, okay, here's a 5/5 flying Aegis. And I think next turn he goes. I know he doesn't need to play the Vara's Favor next turn. He can wait for 2 turns and just go Vara's Favor, make the champion double activated. As Tatsu still not found powers, find a Temple Scribe. I think he needs to play one of his card draw spells here. Either play the Chalice, or you play the Wisdom, or you play the Scribe, but you don't just sit there and let this champion run roughshod over you.
So you can play the Chalice this turn and activate it, but that's your whole turn. Just to cycle essentially, and it does set you up better for future turns. But now you're in that awkward position where you had the turn off, where you could have played Chalice and activated, but you made a 4/4 instead for 6, and that's nice, but it doesn't line up well with what your hand is and what we knew that Bradykin's hand was.
Yeah, I think if you had 2 Chalices in your hand, you just want to get power in your hand, make sure you can throw them. You do have the influence for it, so you're not worried about that. You just need power in your hand ready to go. He chooses to play the Wisdom here, and that will find once the hand cam catches back up. Backlash Justice Sigil. Oh, that's okay. Here's what I'm thinking right now. Tatsumaki doesn't know this, obviously, but holding the Backlash up for this Vara's Favor could be pretty crucial, because that will deny the shadow activation of the champion. And I think, I don't know if he'll be able to hold up power for the Backlash explicitly.
Well, no, it's not going to stop the champion after that Feln banner comes out.
Oh yeah, the Feln banner just ruins that plan. Never mind. Although, then again, if you're ready, you can mind games and bait out the Backlash, but I feel like that's just too heavy on the mind games at this point. So it's just better to just play out the banner, smash in with this Steward.
Yeah, not trying to expose a champion to a double block. He honestly might just sit back with it for a while.
Yeah, there's no point in swinging in yet. It's not activated yet. You're going to be able to activate it next. Oh, he's going to play the Vara's Favor here. Does Tatsumaki try the Backlash here? because he doesn't know about the Shadow Sigil.
He
Oh,
he does see the shadow numbers. I imagine they're discussing it.
yeah. He knows Zeal 4, but he doesn't realize he has the 5th one in hand. Oh, this could be a massive blowout here.
So showing off the banner leads Tatsumaki to believe that this Farah's favor is more important than it is. Interesting also
Yeah.
that he's prioritizing a unit rather than face Aegis,
I
whereas
guess, yeah.
Tatsumaki might also be more inclined to do it if it was going to pop his face Aegis and he was worried about gift.
Well, if you can get, does he have a steward in his grave already, or is that okay? That's still his first one for some reason. But like, if he can get the steward past the kilt, he can just borrow it back. Tatsumaki will pop the Aegis. Yeah, he pops the Aegis, and the borrow's favor does go through. So it will be a double activated champion. But I have a feeling it's going to meet. I don't know. He doesn't have removal in his hand. Oh no, found a vanquish. Never mind. He's fine.
Well, for exactly one turn until Vera
Yeah,
brings it back, and then Vera
yeah.
brings it back, and then Vera's bring. It's a pretty
Obviously,
uphill battle for
this
Tatsumaki
line of
now.
play is a lot worse knowing that Brady King has 3 goddamn Varas in hand, but it looks pretty good because you get to smash in 4, that's 8 damage there, which is not an insignificant amount, especially when you have 2 channels yourself in hand.
Yeah, and Tatsumaki has still not found that turn off to actually play the chalice and get rolling.
Yeah.
So here we see a weird kind of pressure game where it's not actual unit threat that's not giving Tatsumaki any time. It's just like the potential threat of the next turn from the opponent that is
Yeah.
forcing him to action.
Oh, by the way, that's an 8/6 deadly unit, a 5/5 deadly unit, and a 7/5 Aegis Flyer. It's just Vara things. Tatsu doesn't have an answer to that at this point. I think you have to play the Charles here. Just pray. Oh, I guess you can channel the Vara. But I guess knowing what we know, he knows channeling Vara is the right play
I
because you're not breaking the Aegis.
it may not line up well against second Vara, but I think you
Yeah,
need the card draw enough that that's just what you got
yeah,
to do.
yeah. Like you're not winning with that hand. You need more cards in it. You need to do something here. Like obviously, this play is a lot worse knowing what we know, but knowing what Tatsu knows.
Well, honestly, the Varas themselves aren't the problem. It's the stuff that they bring back.
Yeah, but the
Because
stuff that he's got back as Aegis, you're not interacting with that, especially with the hand you've got. I think you just have to take out what you can.
right,
Um,
but like he's got the 1/1 and the 2/1, so he can chump it for a while, and he's not too worried about random ground dorks. The ability is scary, but the unit itself is not. So
yeah, I guess.
if
Okay,
Varas just bring back Vara and then he harsh rules everything, he's okay until the third Vara
yeah, the
comes down.
sidebar.
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous game.
So
So he does try out the chalice here, and he's just. I mean, I guess he does. Oh yeah, because it's Kothon, it has endurance. He is protected from the champion, so I'm guessing you just jam in with the steward of the past, and if he blocks the steward of the past, you can just bring it back and break the face. I guess.
yeah, I think you hold the Vara for a turn. Oh no, goes
Oh,
with everything.
hello.
So we may see a Vara chain here.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting.
Depends how
This
slow you
is
want to play it. Tatsu's push
yeah,
or Bradykin's pushing here. He's not too scared of harsh rule with his double
yeah.
Vara insurance.
I think
So
because what he's thinking is if your opponent just now took the turn off to play Chalice, he's out of gas in hand. So you push on while your opponent has nothing. I think is the line of thinking with that.
yeah, and you don't want to
Um,
give him too much time to draw into four
yeah,
harsh rules like we saw last turn.
yeah, that. Yeah, I think that's what he's going with here. Just smoking before he gets ruined by the silence or harsh or whatever Tatsu draws into.
So I think
So
you're
Tatsu,
priced into double blocking champion. You can
yeah,
probably take the 5, and I imagine you chump Vara, and I think that's where
yeah,
we go.
that seems like the most reasonable line of play. No, double blocks the Vara, and do you then? You can't go a 2. Surely you don't go a 2. You have to throw something else under a bus here.
Um,
I know you go to 3, which isn't much better, but I can do
it's
maths.
it's an aggressive non. Again, you do need to worry about that potential of a board clear from the Withering Witch, which is a problem. for the
Yeah.
deck, especially if you drop too low.
So yeah, I think you do have to throw something else onto the bus here. Going to 3 is not really good in any circumstance.
So it's interesting that he's prioritizing killing the Vara. It looks like he really, really wants to get a silence on the champion rather
Yeah, I
than
mean,
risk. And
to be fair, if you're going on the survive plan, Vara is doing. But then again, because now at the end of the turn, this champion's gonna get even bigger.
yeah,
And okay, no, it just goes to 3, and now he's gonna have a 7-5 and a 9-5, and this Vara's gonna bring back a Vara. I assume that's maybe.
so the problem with blocking the champion is that if he just played if Bradykin just played any shadow unit, it would have brought back the champion, which
Yeah, I guess.
really isn't ideal. So that's probably why
Yeah.
he made the second Vara block to get it out of the way. It's
Yeah, I don't hate it. He's gone to 3. Like that's the thing that really concerned me. He didn't also then not take some extra damage, and now he's staring on board lethal. He just had the harsh rule in hand, but that's going to leave him dead on board. Yeah, there's just I mean, he can play Kothon, activate Kothon. That'll keep him alive, but he's going to have to throw everything just to not die.
I think you channel one of the units, you play a power, and then you can backlash your removal spell. I think that's your best line. And then you just double jump, and you hope for something to break Aegis and do the harsh roll.
Yeah.
Nope, goes for
Okay,
the
no, I think
Kothon
he's going for
activate
Kothon,
line.
activate Kothon. Yeah.
Alright.
So he's going to just. Oh, no, okay, that's free, isn't it? It's got endurance. Why am I concerned about this attack?
So this works and opens up more chumps for him. This is a lot better if you're planning on double blocking champion, which he can do here.
Yeah, you could throw in the unbuffed Kothon and the owl, I guess, and then just block with whatever. Just double Kothon with 2 units, and then just throw the other 2 units to the stewards, and then Vara brings back champion, and you're dead again. It's not great for Tatsu.
This could go a couple of different ways.
But you have to worst chump block at best, double block this champion and
you
have no units left.
You've definitely priced yourself into blocking with all your units here.
Yeah, there's no way you can't let anything through, because you let anything through, you're dead. But
it seems a bit silly to not take the opportunity to double block the champion, just because.
Yeah, just killing a champion is really important.
Killing one of the ground units isn't great.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna take the champion, leave a 7/5 and a 5/5, and here comes the Vara. Brings back the champion. Brings back Vara. Brings back the champion. Sorry, I forgot there was Vara in the grave already.
Yes, so that's a pretty big board, but it's all going to get harsh ruled.
No, it's not, because the champion's got Aegis. Tatsu needs to find exactly Desert Marshal. Oh no, Vanquish Safer as well.
Vanquish.
Yeah.
What's it called? Island's Favor. So as long as he can find anything that kills it for 2.
Favor costs 3. I don't think that would save him. He's found Wisdom. You think he's? Oh no, what am I thinking? Because
he's got 10.
No, yeah, I'm done. Ignore me.
So he found something to pop it. Combra Healer.
Oh no!
But no power to do it.
No,
so
he's got the power, but it's tap power. He's dead.
Yeah. So this ends now with a concession.
All right. Can I be honest right now? It's been so long since that game I actually forgot the score.
Yes. Bradykin lost the first game and then won the second game. So we're actually going to game 3.
Yeah.
I should probably have that up. More novice production mistakes.
That game went on forever. Holy shit.
Let me actually add up a game score that I neglected in favor of the match score. Sorry to everybody watching.
So yeah, they're going into game 3.
Yes. Okay, that should be up on the screen now. And the players are just hopping right back into it. So let's get ready for another exciting match of Control versus Control.
Hey, here's the Ascendel's gift.
There we go. Yes.
So yeah, Bradykin actually, I think that was his mull. I wasn't paying complete attention, but I think that was his mulligan. Or is it looking? I'm just losing my goddamn mind.
No, he
It's
kept his starting hand, it looks like. Yes.
whatever. The point is, he ended up with an Azazel's gift in his hand. That's the key thing we're getting at here.
Yes.
He also has the
So-
Bloodcaster, which I really like. This is a 2/5. It shores up against pretty much all the attackers that Brady, the Tatsumaki is going to be able to throw at him, even post Chalice buffs. So yeah, that's going to be good for shoring up the ground. Eventually, he gets to 7, he can draw cards. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it gives him
Which is
something to
good
do
fun.
on 7, but he's got something much better to do, and it's a
Yeah,
shiny gift. Here, take
Well,
this.
obviously, once you've cast Azazel's gift, you need something else to do. Why not draw cards?
So, what Bloodcaster does give him is just one more way for Feln to pop Aegis, because
Oh yeah, that's true as well.
Ultimate pops it as well.
Tatsumaki doesn't have the Chalice in hand, has a Scribe, has the actually importantly does have the Island's Favor in hand, so he's going to be able to cast that. So Riddikin will actually need to use the ult or find Vara's Favor.
But
beyond that,
Vara's
just gonna be
Favor, Black Sky Harbinger, Steward of the Past,
just
Bloodcaster.
something.
There's so many things that pop Aegis out of Feln. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to rely on that, and that's where the protects come in, right?
I don't think he boarded them in though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is merit to boarding them in, as we're going to find out very shortly. But I just, yeah, obviously they look a lot worse when your opponent doesn't find the but as Nell's gift is like they didn't do last game.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, no, never mind. Oh, there goes Aegis Popper number 1. Will instead kill a 1/1, draw a card, so that's pretty nice. And more important, draw a sigil, so that's gonna get him up to 5 once he casts his other Vara's Favor. So that's gonna be another 6 I can count.
I'm not sure if that was.
That
Well,
was completely fine.
it didn't really matter. I'm just looking
No,
at that
completely
wisdom and
fine.
thinking
Like, killing
2
the 1/1
cards.
before he gets
Yeah.
kill the 1 before he gets Chalice buffed, and you've still got the other one in case you're really worried about face Aegis, and you have the Black Sky Harbinger, and you have the Bloodcaster. Yeah, I think you're fine. It's just getting up to 7 is all that matters right now, and he's going to go up to 6 here, and he has the wisdom, so he should be fine. Tatsu, meanwhile, he's going to get power, but he's not going to find anything to do with it immediately, unless he's drawing something I've yet to see.
He's really holding on to that island's favor. Well, I guess he drew double power there. He doesn't need it for the power. Never mind. He wants to save it.
He's just saying he's saving it so he can drop it on 6, and then at least delay the Azazel's gift for 1 turn. If you're Redkin, I think you either open with wisdom or you just cast the Vara's Favor now. I think you do. No, he doesn't cast anything. I think you have to cast Vara's Favor there just to make sure you can get up to 7 in 2 turns, or next turn even. But no, he just chooses to skip a turn. Unless I did miss the power play, I don't think I did.
He's gonna play wisdom probably.
Yeah,
just end of
obviously
turn.
you play wisdom whatever you do. I just surprised he didn't cast Vara's Favor during his turn.
To guarantee the next power drop, yeah.
Yeah.
The more you use it, the less you have to pop Aegis. But here he can
again Black Sky Harbinger, Bloodcaster. You got the Steel Cast as well. I don't think you're worried about doing that. Whatever. I think now you see the 2/1. The Vara's Favor looks a lot more enticing. Of course, if he hits 2 power here, he's probably okay. But it just depends on his draws. Tatsu has. Oh no, he can backlash this wisdom. That's what the response. Oh no, he's got the wisdom as well. So
he has to decide here how much he cares about this particular wisdom. We've seen backlash sit for a while, but it's also his only good Aegis popper of his own. So
yeah, I think you just have to hold it. Like, your backlashing wisdom isn't the greatest thing in the world. Like, okay, you denied your opponent 2 card draws. If they have more card draw, and they got more card draw, you got the Bloodcaster sitting right in front of you. Because I don't think it's worth countering the wisdom, especially if you need it to pop the Aegis.
Mm-hmm. I think he will eventually let this pass and just draw some cards of his own. But
yeah,
nope, choosing not to.
Okay, I don't like this. Brady just finds the Primal Sigil anyway. He's going to be fine. He's going to curve out on power.
Yeah, well,
the backlash was completely irrelevant.
I guess he decided that he hasn't found too many targets. Might as well prevent his opponent from drawing to too much later on.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a backlash gone. Oh, I don't like that. I really don't like that.
Well,
Oh,
what's done is done. So, interesting that you went for the Vara's favor rather than the Black Sky Harbinger there. I would have thought that he would have.
again, it's just confirm the power curve out.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's
Yeah,
going to be
that's
able to get to 7 next turn. He's going to be able to just go in straight to the Black Sky Harbinger next turn. Not Black Sky, as Nell's Gift. I mean, he does also have the option of drawing cards off the Bloodcaster or playing Black Sky if he needs to pop the Aegis. But assuming the Island's Favor doesn't come out, which I think it will, he can just as Nell's Gift next turn. Yeah, there's the Island's Favor. So that's a question of how do you want to pop this? Tatsu doesn't do anything aside from... he drew some cards as well, so he didn't really do anything beyond putting the face Aegis on himself. Important did find the first channel, so that could be important. He's going to...
Use the Bloodcaster roll to pop it.
So he's only going to get 1 draw off that, but popping Aegis seems worth it. So unless Tatsu draws it to another Island's Favor, hold on to this Chalice. I'm going in. Dazzendale's Gift. It's 1 hour in and I'm full of cards already.
Yeah.
So I think Tatsu has to realize the gift is coming. Like, he just drew cards knowing that he would only get the 1 off the card draw. He popped that face Aegis for a reason. There's only one reason we have pop face Aegis in Fel, and that's to pop the Dazzendale's Gift on.
Yeah, but what can you really do to stop it, right? So
just burn the channel now, I guess.
Yeah. Get the damage while you can. The problem is that channel gets a lot worse when you have no cards in hand when you draw it.
Yeah,
because it only does 3.
Yeah, so Tatsu drew into a Chalice. He found another channel, which I guess doesn't really matter anyway because it's only like a 3 damage spell. Once the Dazzendale's Gift is deployed. Oh no, he has this turn as well, so he can just throw the second channel, which does actually take Readykin fairly low.
That does 11, I think.
Yeah,
but then how do you deal the last 6 is the problem.
Yeah, like last 6 is
hand.
going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, but it's going to go low. So the possibility for winning the game does exist. It's just extremely unlikely, especially with Bradykin's hand, which is pretty much just mono gas at this point.
All right, so he goes to 6, loses his hand, top decks channel, channels for 3, loses his hand, top decks channel, channels for 3. Game's over. Easy win.
Does he have 2 channels left? How many channels does he have left?
Should have 2 more.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, you're right. So that's... I mean, that is lethal. Except if the problem is if Bradykin at any point plays Black Sky Harbinger, that play is just completely ruined.
Yes. Yeah. Nothing like ruining your runner perfect with literally any card from your opponent's deck.
Use any card. 2 of the 5 cards in his hand.
Yes. Well, it's not looking good for Tatsu here. He has to make a lot of bad decisions. You can play the Chalice if you want to play a long game, and I say that in quotes because there's not a lot of long games you can play under a gift. You can toss out the channel for damage, but then you just got nothing.
He board in the
Protect
Great Parliaments. That's what I'm thinking of. Because one thing is, if he plays the Chalice now, he can just draw into a Great Parliament as his win con instead. Obviously, he has to play that Chalice now, really. But I think if he doesn't have the Great Parliament here, I think it's just a losing effort. But if there is the Great Parliament in his deck, there is a chance that he can just draw into it, play enough power to get some number of owls, and by some miracle break them through the Black Sky Harbinger witch combo that's in Bradykin's hand. Never mind.
Gonna be tough.
Yeah.
All right, regardless of what he chooses, it's a very uphill battle for Tatsumaki once you're under a gift. So we will see.
It's taking a little while to think about this, I will say. Like, I guess another line of play is just, okay, so draw some cards.
That's got to be the Chalice line then.
Yeah.
Although I don't know that that's actually better than like playing an Ember Acolyte.
Yeah, I think I would prefer Chalice Amber Acolyte, but I think he's just looking for answers. which he hasn't found. The Vanquish does nothing. The banner, he had power in his hand already.
Yeah.
So now it's just a question of, is it Harsh Rule or is it Chalice? It's going to be Chalice. Okay.
Yeah. I think
Compare bots, this game is going to go on for like another 20 turns.
not that long.
No,
Bradykin has a
not
lot
that
of gas in hand.
Yeah, but it's going to go on for some time at least.
A couple of turns, but I don't know. Tatsu sort of flailing in his death throes, I think, is
Yes.
what we're going to see here.
So as Bradykin, I'm feeling just A space, then play Black Sky Harbinger.
Probably.
I think Black Sky. I know you have the Fel banner. If you wanted to be really greedy here, you could just play Vara.
Nothing died, right? So Vara doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything, but it does put up a faster clock. Like,
yes,
obviously,
faster than BSH.
Yeah, because obviously, Vara was 6 damage, Black Sky is 3. Like, maths. Obviously, that plan does get pretty blown out if Tatsu does top deck into a silence, but it depends what you're feeling like. If you just want to play it safe, Black Sky is probably the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just wants to. He's got the gift on. He can take his time a bit here.
It's just holding on to the Vera gives you so much insurance against a random top decked Harsh Rule.
Yeah.
And your opponent is drawing a couple cards with that Chalice, more than you'd expect, anyways.
He does need to play Weenies to actually get the card draw. Okay, he's found Weenies. Never mind.
Found a second Chalice. Not quite what you're looking for.
Useless. It's basically useless.
And he's gonna lose his. You're not gonna play a second Black Sky Harbinger to pull that. I imagine that's what you do, right?
He's realizing now he can just play second Black Sky. Deny the Chalice activity. That's actually really good. Holy shit.
Kill it, attack in for 9. Come on.
It's 9 once you count in the Black Sky Harbinger damage. No, he's just gonna ace base first. Because I'm thinking if he does chump this, then he can just play this Wisdom of the Elders.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
I don't think you can though.
Yeah.
You're digging for Harsh Rule and hoping.
Yeah. Right, so he's just gonna play the Black Sky post combat, which basically achieves the same thing. Tatsumaki's down on board. I don't know what his draw is yet. Yeah, he just scoops up.
Concession.
Holy shit! Like, it's finally over.
Okay, so we struggled through the Chalice versus Felon Control. Tatsumaki on Chalice has been eliminated, and SPG Destiny takes the first game. So they're now going to have to choose their second player in the lineup, and we're going to go to a bit of a break while we set that up. Here we go.
Good lord.
All right, so we will be right back. Hello again, and welcome back to the second set of the first match of us today. Bradykin on Phone Control took down Tatsumaki on Chalice, and the team Eternal Warcry has elected to lead off with Notorious GHP on Feln Midrange for the second set. We're going to move into the match now. Again, please excuse any teething troubles in here. I've heard some questions about a bit more clarity on who's playing for which team. So I've added a few team logos, and hopefully that will help out. So we've got our opening hands here. Kirby, you can see.
Yep, I'm good. Feln mid, sorry, Notorious GHP is on Feln mid range, by the way. It's like Feln Control, except instead of playing various high-endy things, you're playing such other fun stuff as Midnight Gale and Argentport Instigator, and most notably the One of Nightmare in the main deck as well. So I'm hoping that comes out because that card is just fun to look at. But yeah, it's basically Feln Control for the most part, except more aggressive, I think is fair to say.
But no Veras and no Witches. So no one-sided wipe, despite those Harbingers. And no super late game. So, if the game goes late, obviously the control deck is going to take over the mid-range deck, as it generally tends to do.
Yeah, but again, if it goes like, there's a chance that we might see the One of Nightmare surprise lethal, which I just really want it to happen. Okay, don't take this away from me.
All right, so
yeah, both players just setting up early board. Bradykin with the Feln Blood Caster, Notorious with the Instigator, and looks like he's probably gonna be following up with I think he might have to play the Seek Power so he can cast Midnight Gale on turn 4. It's unfortunate that he didn't draw any banners or the like, so his influence is a bit bad for it. Wait, no, he can just play the Bloodcaster now and Seek Power next turn with the Midnight Gale. I'm done. So yeah, just gonna drop the Bloodcaster out there. Bradykin probably plays Steward of the Past here. I don't see another really great play. I think Annihilate only kills the Instigator. I guess you could just draw some cards, but I feel like, yeah, playing Steward just gets you a nice board state established. Doesn't mean you don't take any reasonable amount of damage from the mid-range deck. Unfortunately, said mid-range deck is going to very quickly take to the skies here, I think, because that Seek Power probably finds Primal and then plays Midnight Gale. So Midnight Gale, for the unaware, is a 4/3 with Infiltrate, gains Lifesteal, or some combination of those words. My game is not showing. Yeah, Midnight Gale gains Lifesteal. So obviously, killing it before it gets a significant life swing is pretty important. Unfortunately, Breaking doesn't really have any. I mean, it could Storm favor it, but that just feels excessive. You're just too fond yourself, and you burned a Sweeper in a deck that quite likes its Storm Witch combo, so he's not going to immediately answer it, unfortunately. Permafrost will shut out this Steward, so I believe this is second Midnight Gale as well. And here comes the A space. And Bradykin now not looking too great. He's going to take 6 here. The Midnight Gale's going to gain Lifesteal, and Bradykin desperately needed something. It wasn't a Shadow Sigil, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, so Midnight Gale's usually pretty good against Feln decks. Against your average aggressive deck, it runs into Torch and Vanquish, both on 3, which is super awkward. But Feln doesn't have a really clean way to kill it lower than 4 power. Suffocate doesn't do it, Annihilate doesn't do it, so their usual stuff isn't that good. You need to either Permafrost it or go all the way up to Death Strike.
Or, again, the old Witch Storm combo, and because the Storm has just been burned there to take out one of them, it certainly feels a lot worse. Unfortunately, it's Breaking. I think you just sat on your hands until you can draw into something else. The Annihilate, I guess you could Annihilate the Instigator, but that's probably the best you're going to get on this board. And you're still taking 4 in the air every turn, at least until you can draw into something. So this could just very quickly go in the way of Brady. Of Notorious even. I know teams.
Yes. No, Brady's super heavy power draw was pretty good against Chalice, less good against an aggressive deck. And
so
yeah.
There was the thing about having the Permafrosted Steward. He got silenced, so the trigger didn't cast off, and Notorious didn't take 1 there.
Oh, card draw is nice.
Card draw is nice. Notorious on 3 Black Sky Harbingers just sat there in his hand. Actually, while I remember, one thing I don't like. Oh no. Just power permafrost. Okay, to be fair, permafrost does actually shut out the Midnight Gale from doing any more work. And there's an impending doom. Jesus. One of the things I will say about the Felon control deck versus the Felon mid-range deck is that the Felon control deck, I feel, is more reliably going to activate its Champion of Cunning just because it wants to go late. Mid-range, I don't know if it was running less power. I need to check again. But if you're trying to win around about turn 5, 6, 7, where you're trying to really put pressure on, you're not going to have a double activated champion more times than not. Bredekin does have a double activated champion next turn, but it's only going to trade with this.
Well, that'll be okay, because we've got a Vera coming down.
Yeah, there's the Vara as well to back it up. And Notorious now on 5 with again, there's 3 Black Sky Harbingers in hand. Once this champion comes down, that's going to be real trouble, because 3-5 versus 5-5, that's getting incrementally bigger every turn. I think Bredekin's feeling quite happy right now. Did Bredekin always have? I know he drew it off the Velmglucaster, the Instigator. That one really threw me off for a second there.
GHP not drawing that 6th power source in order to apply those Harbingers has really reduced the amount of pressure that he can put out, and it's given Bredekin time to draw into a whole lot of action, because he can happily trade now and then go for the Vara.
He trades, plays Vara, laughs.
Yeah.
Okay, so Notorious, again, this is the problem I was talking about. Notorious plays a champion. It's a vanilla 5-5. And then Bredekin is just going to casually bring back his 7-5 that's just going to turn to a 9-5. Yeah, nothing terrible going on here.
I think this first game, or this first game of the set, is going to go the way of the Bredekin.
Yeah, I struggle to see a draw, because, like, again, the Fel mid-range is effectively just Fel. Okay, to be fair, there is a world where Notorious did top deck power, never mind. As I say, there's a world where he top decks power, plays a Black Sky Harbinger, top decks power, top decks Nightmare, wins the game on the spot. That ain't happening.
I like your world, Kirby. That's a pretty cool world to live in.
Listen, man, Nightmare, anything is possible.
Well,
but unfortunately, he's only got 2 attack available to him, so Nightmare is still only a 2-turn clock. So, yeah, I feel like Bredekin's just got to clock him out right here. He's swinging in for 17, assuming Notorious doesn't jump, which I feel like he might have to. Because if he doesn't, he's dead in the air next turn, and the air also has
jumping probably the line. Not a great line. Again,
I have to take.
Not a player that is super in this game. Still hasn't drawn that 6 power and is just sitting there with all the 6 drops. This is why 6 drops in your aggressive decks are tough sometimes.
Oh, he is running 4-6-4 Vara, so I guess he's running enough power. I guess he just didn't draw into it enough. So the power is certainly there. It's just not drawing it. It's just unfortunate. So yeah, he's just considering, does he want to just jump this out now? He's doing the maths. He realizes no matter what he's doing, he's probably going to die painfully next turn anyway, and he just opts to take it.
Takes it on the chin like a man. Says, if I don't draw power, I wasn't going to win this game anyways.
I mean, okay, to be fair, he does top deck power, he does live for a turn. That's it. That's as far as it goes.
The 1-turn survival.
No, to be fair, no, because he then needs to block Vara as well. Yeah, he just scoops it up there. What did he draw?
Yeah.
Was a Bloodcaster. Yeah, he's just staying on board then.
Okay, so I did manage to pull up the decks. I don't know how quickly the players are going to get back into it. There we go. So let's take a little bit look at this Notorious GHP Felon mid-range deck and his sideboard. We see some Recurring Nightmares in there. That's kind of spicy.
Yeah, I do actually like Recurring Nightmares. The only fast spell that kills them is because I don't think Bredekin was one of the Felon that was running. Yeah, he's not running Lightning Strike. His only fast spell that kills it is Death Strike, and he's only got 2 of those. And I don't think he doesn't have any more in the sideboard. So running those in seems like a really good way of just clocking your opponent out.
I have been informed by the chat that Lightning Strike is something that Felon can play that actually does kill Midnight Gale. Um,
And
so,
he's not playing it. It doesn't matter. He's
yes,
not. He's not running his deck.
but it is an option.
It is an option. It's not one's available in this deck.
So, lots of anti-control stuff in there with the sabotages and the
Yeah,
backlashes and things to push through. The problem is that it feels like Brady's champions are just going to be better than Notorious's champions.
yeah. Especially like Brady can play his champions out with a lot more confidence, knowing that he can just borrow them back if he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the chalice list. I don't. What else is he can board in? I don't.
So the storms are going to come out of
Yeah.
maybe both lists, honestly. Depends how
Yeah.
much Bradykin likes his witches in this matchup.
I can see an argument for keeping them in Brady's list. Notorious doesn't want them. He's not running
No.
champion. He's not running any poke effect outside Vara's favor. Everything has 5 health. It's just basically dead cards. I think you probably want those suffocates in because those are live up until champion, and even then it's still hit the Black Sky Harbinger, so they're going to be really good. Recurring Nightmare I do really like in this matchup. Beyond that, I think his deck is as good as it's going to get, unfortunately for him. Because the problem is, I still think that the Fel control deck just goes over him, and it goes over him better.
Yeah, so it's a little bit tough here. I would ordinarily say, with more of an anti-aggro Felon deck, that the mid-range deck could have a chance with its champions, but with both players on champions and one of them going over the top with the Varas, it's going to be pretty tough.
Because the card out is basically unit for unit, aside from Instigator. Because they're both running Bloodcasters, they're both running Stewards, they're both running Champions, they're both running Black Skies. Like, the Fel control just matches him every step of the way and then keeps on going. I just fail to see how he can get through. I mean, obviously, there is the chance that he does draw into like a couple of Steward of the Pasts and just pushes through flying damage. If Brady King doesn't draw enough flyers or enough removal to stop them, then he can just push through lethal damage before it becomes a problem, but it remains to be seen.
All right, so the players are making their sideboarding decisions, and I think they've just about been done. But so if Bradykin does take this, and as a control deck, he is pretty well set up against aggressive decks with the storms and things, and their last deck is Stone Scar Burn. So I think if he does end up taking down the Fountain midrange, he has a reasonable shot at sweeping the series.
Yeah, I guess going back to the Lightning Strike, not having that versus Stone Scar is a bit of an issue, but I think he's still got enough removal and just ball stalling just to make it work. So it remains to be seen, but I think Brady Kinch, I think, is definitely favoured in this matchup. He brought in the Extract, Brady.
Interesting. Well, that is another card that Felon can play that does kill Midnight Gale.
I guess it does.
And Instigator. So there's a lot more in this list than in the average Felon list that you'd expect that actually goes down to those extracts. Yeah. And it does give you a bunch of life gain back, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just didn't expect it was all. I don't know why I didn't expect it thinking about it, but he's really just going to be playing draw go for the first couple turns, unless Notorious trots out this Instigator here, which I guess he probably does.
It's a card that you usually associate with coming in against burn decks, the Stone Scar, the Ricano, stuff like that. But it kills a lot out of this deck too.
Yeah, does he? So I guess I think he either plays it now or he holds it for the Midnight Gale. I think it might actually be worth holding it. Never mind, because you want the champions and had to deal with this Instigator. It's not too much of a threat. Yes, you take 3, but you also can then deal with a Midnight Gale. So I like holding it here. Okay, he's going to play it. I don't hate playing it. I just feel like maybe holding it is a better option.
It looks like he wants to. Well, you raise a fair point because it feels like the stewards were going to hold off the Instigator anyways.
Yeah. But I think that was a Seek Power to top he did there. I don't think he put it to the bottom.
I believe that's correct.
It was definitely a Seek Power he looked at, and it was to top. Okay. So Notorious actually he's got double Impending Doom in hand, so he's going to be able to go over Bradykin here. This could actually be a problem. Bradykin has the Death Strike for the first Impending Doom, but he can't deal with the second. That might just be enough to get Notorious there. Okay, yeah, there's the Impending Doom. Bradykin draws another Steward of the Past. That's not going to answer the death. Answer the second Steward. Holy shit! There's the Nightmare. The Nightmare is in Notorious's hand. We could see the meme lethal.
Well, he still needs to get up to 7 power and have something on board to deal with.
Yeah, I think getting the stuff on the board to deal with get the kill is a bit easier because you don't actually have to swing in; you just have to have it there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bradykin does have the Witch in hand, so he could just if he had kept in the Black Skies, which I presume he did, then he might just be able to go, okay, hold this Witch, hold this Black Sky Harbinger, your Nightmare is useless. Yep, there's the Death Strike on the Impending Doom. But I feel like Nightmare could just get a surprise lethal here. It depends how it plays out. Obviously, Notorious does need to top deck into a lot more attack.
The Death Strike's out of the way, so that's a start.
Yeah, there's one.
And Bradykin doesn't have a good answer to the second Impending Doom that's coming down here.
So I guess Bradykin's just going to try and clock him. He does actually have health. I don't know his clock is faster up until Notorious plays another unit if he plays the second Steward, so he could actually just win the race here as a control deck, which feels a bit weird.
Drawing Vera's Favor does turn Withering Witch into a kill spell on the Impending Doom, and
yeah,
Notorious is taking a fair amount of damage. He has some removal of his own, but also wants to build up to that Nightmaw. Permafrost.
Permafrost is super good here. That does slow Bradykin's clock down significantly to the point where racing is now viable again. He's going to draw some cards first, just in case he finds something better to do. I don't think he will. Let's see what he draws into here. It is a... second Permafrost. That's super good. I think he goes double Perma go face. Yeah.
All right. So that turns the clock around a fair bit, especially with that extra Impending Doom that he picked up. But Bradykin's... Ooh, this is kind of awkward, because if you don't hit a power, you can't play anything.
Yeah, I think you're forced into playing the Steward of the No, okay, he's going to go for the draw cards option. I think he just realised he needs to find an answer to this Impending Doom sooner rather than later. He's going to play the Steward instead of drawing more cards, which I guess is okay if you're expecting a ground offensive.
Well, you need to develop on board so that you can dig for your answers later on.
I think Notorious just goes Vara Favor face. Because if you... Oh, he's found a Recurring Nightmare. Oh, baby.
I don't think that's better than Vara to get you closer to Nightmaw and then just play your Impending Doom.
You can do both.
No, you can't play Impending Doom and Nightmare, and I think that Nightmare is better the turn after you play the Doom.
Yeah, but having that Nightmare is huge, because now it's... Bradykin is basically Death Strike or bust. Good lord. Who was me trashing Notorious's deck that entire time? He goes around and he pulls this out.
I wonder if you just play Withering Witch here to give yourself Black Sky Harbinger as a better out. Yeah, I think you do.
Forced into it here. Like, keep going to 7 next turn. If you draw into Black Sky Harbinger, you go super ahead. But you don't win by not playing Witch. That made some sense, I think.
So he draws the power, and hilariously, Nightmaw is now lethal, even if the Dooms are cleared with a Storm next turn. Yeah. So he needs to draw Black Sky Harbinger, essentially. Otherwise, Nightmaw is lethal, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I think...
Because the 2 Dooms attack, put him down to 7, and then the Nightmaw comes down, and then he's at exacts. And he still needs to deal with the Dooms in the air, so Storm doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah. I'm just... Yeah, okay, you are right. I was thinking there's some world where he removes the Nightmare and keeps the... removes the Nightmare and the Stewards. Not Stewards, the Impending Dooms, but you're right, it is just down on board.
Oh, that's Bloodcaster, and GHP is going to take it with the Nightmaw to lock it up.
Good lord. I was not anticipating this.
Alright, so
So Nightmare was lethal. I'm happy. I mean, admittedly, it wasn't lethal because it was Nightmare surprise lethal. It was Nightmare is a 7/7 unblockable, but I'll take it all the same.
Yes. So players will probably be jumping back into game.
Yeah, just got him now.
All right, so we'll just follow them along then. And
Um,
we'll go for that third match. So if GHP pulls this out, then I think Warcry has a lot more life in them because without that Felm control deck to just really hold down the burn deck, Warcry's lineup looks a lot better. And of course, the extra win doesn't hurt.
yeah, the extra win I think is the more important part. What's the Serrano quote? Winning the match allows you to win the match or something like that. Whatever. Bradykin's molded into a. I mean, okay, he gets him up to 4. He does have feeding time on 4. Beyond that, I don't know. Looking at Notorious's hand, okay, he's mauled at hand, never mind. He's got a bit of power, but he's got no early game threats, so Bradykin could just develop a decent board here. He's got enough card draw to find some threats. Bradykin just going to play draw go for the time being.
Yeah. Notorious with a power light hand, and
God,
can't bring that
primal. Yeah.
Can't bring that wisdom to bear. Now Bradykin's deciding between Bloodcaster and draw, I imagine.
I think you go draw here. Your opponent's not played a single threat yet. None of them have charge. You're not worried about taking any damage from this board state. I think you just go, okay, I'm just going to draw some cards and hope to find something big.
Yeah, looks like that's what he's gone for. Although with that monument draw, GHP can deploy the wisdom and get some power back of her own. So both players just building up.
Yeah. There is a pause now for Notorious as he can cast the wisdom. He can also cast
or the backlash. So could choose to backlash this and does.
Okay, I think that's. I don't know if I like that or not. I guess.
So Warcry has shown a preference both in the previous game and this one in keeping their opponent off resources. You know, Wisdom of the Elders is a very easy 2-for-1. You just play it and draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
And they've preferred to trade 1-for-1 to prevent their opponent from being up a card in these attrition-based matchups.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the second one comes out from Bradykin. He doesn't care. He's just got the backlash out of hand. His removal spells are now very much active.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't find a champion, which could just be a vanilla 5/5 if he wants it to be. He's just going to play the Bloodcaster, which is a lot safer.
Yeah, you're not usually in too much of a hurry to get the champion down. If you can find the 5th Shadow, contrary to the previous matchup where you really wanted the extra primal, you're more concerned with getting your Bloodcasters and stuff buffed up.
So this still bounces is going to be a 4/4 flare that's probably going to die to Annihilate here, because you want to save your Permafrost for the multi-faction units, I think. Yeah. Taking out the 4/4 flare seems reasonable. And then there's a 3rd primal, so unfortunately it's not going to be a super champion yet. But instead, just Bradykin's probably. I think he'd play out the 2nd Bloodcaster here. Just start putting up a clock. Just win a game.
Yeah. Probably just play the 2nd Bloodcaster if you want to play it slow. If you're feeling aggressive, you can slam down the champion. But I don't think you really need to. You're the control deck. You've got the better late game. Your opponent isn't doing.
Just choose to. I think he realizes Notorious is not playing cards, so I think he thinks he can just push in damage here. Unfortunately, Notorious does have the Permafrost in hand, which makes this line of play not quite as good. And okay, just find the Midnight Gale as well, and the Suffocate, and the Permafrost. So
so lots of removal spells being tossed around.
Of course, the problem with permafrosting the champion is that the shadow buff, when it gets there, will be active, so it will just be making Bradykin's board massive. Bradykin is going to permafrost this Midnight Gale and just play the other Bloodcaster here. So he's doing pretty okay for himself. His clock is now significantly slower, but it's certainly going to get there eventually. Never mind, there's another Suffocate. He does have the... Bradykin does have the Vara in hand, so eventually he will be able to just go, oh no, that's feeding time now. You can feeding time your own champion and bring it back, he says.
Well, not exactly.
No.
Not quite how that card works.
No. You can't even bring back the pig, it's primal.
Right. So do you
Yeah,
slam Nightmaw here?
I think yeah. It's well, you have to slam something here. You don't play nothing. It depends what you think your opponent has. If you think your opponent has flyers, you play Nightmare. If you think your opponent is gonna ground you out, you play Black Sky. I think is the way it goes.
Yeah,
Um,
probably just Nightmaw. It's more expensive.
yeah,
Black Sky can actually do stuff. Um,
yeah.
the more exciting thing is that with that film banner, GHP's champions are now fully activated, whereas Bradykins are not activated at all.
Oh yeah.
So that makes GHP's later draws a lot better.
He's just showing up at every available opportunity, isn't he? The mid-range deck can't get double activated champion. I'm just gonna shut up. Anyway, yeah, I think he's deciding whether or not he wants to play the Black Sky or the Nightmare here.
Hmm.
I mean, both are equally good plays. I don't particularly prefer one over the other.
Of course, we in the booth know that regardless of which one he plays, Bradykin can just kill it. So
I mean, oh god, yeah, no, the Black Sky just decides to suffocate, doesn't it?
yeah, so
I
there's
think,
not
yeah,
too much difference in what he decides at
yeah,
this particular juncture.
yeah. Like I was gonna say, maybe you play out Black Sky, maybe it dies to the feeding time. The suffocate just kills it, and then if you play the Nightmare, it does die to the feeding time because you don't want your opponent to have a Nightmare.
Yeah.
So there's Nightmare. In comes the feeding time.
Presumably.
Yeah, unless you feel like, yeah, you could be really greedy and just play the Black Sky Harbinger. No, you kill the Nightmare while you can. Your opponent's tapped out, you can't have a backlash. The Black Sky comes out, dies to suffocate, and then you play your own Black Sky Harbinger, I think is the line of play here.
Well, you play the Black Sky Harbinger first to get that extra 1 point of life value before the
This is why
suffocate.
I'm not a pro player.
Well, at least GHP's drawn a second Harbinger, so those Harbingers will stare at each other kind of awkwardly for a bit. But the Vera is going to mean that Bradykin's going to get pretty far ahead pretty quickly.
What? Okay, no, he does have Bloodcasters he can bring back. He can draw some cards, draw into... Oh, that's a Shadow activated champion there's permafrosted now. Ooh,
It's going to make the Harbinger even bigger. Yeah. So this game's going to end pretty quickly for for Brady.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you just go Black Sky Harbinger suffocate in that order.
For extra value.
Yeah. I think he's just considering maybe just playing the Vara now and drawing some cards. I think that's like the only other consideration you can make. Just set up the Bloodcaster. Because to be fair, that does give you 2 units that get champion buffed. So you get a 8/6 and a 4/5, which isn't terrible. But actually, now thinking about that, line of play is probably why they're thinking so hard. Yeah, he's going to go with that. He's going to just try and race Notorious here.
Interesting.
Because,
so,
I guess with that line of play as well is that he doesn't have to play the Suffocate Harbinger.
Yeah, he's not under threat, so he's just trying to get extra Harbinger value.
Yeah, because that Harbinger also brings back the second Bloodcaster. Yeah, that's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah. So Notorious probably swings in here for 3 just to get the life gain going, and then plays the sick. Oh, he does have the double activated champion.
That gets a lot more interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, he plays double activated champion, swings. Doesn't play the Permafrost.
Permafrost isn't super good against Vera because Vera still activates, so he's probably saving it to go on a flyer, and he's looking to race.
Yeah, I think
what the champion does do that makes this line of play super interesting is that now Black Sky Harbinger is out of suffocate range. And whereas before it could just be cleared up at any time, now we're going to have dueling Harbingers. And because GHP has the suffocate plus a second Harbinger, he may actually be able to race in the air, which is really interesting.
GHP doesn't have the suffocate, he's the permafrost, but we'll see that detail.
Yes, he permafrosts the enemy Harbinger, and then he smacks in for 12, plays another flyer, and then it's actually Bradykin who's on the back foot because he only has his ground blockers. So
I will say that at any point, Bradykin can activate the champion, just draw some cards and find something good. Like if he finds a Death Strike or something, or what could he? I guess it would have to.
He's only got a 1-turn clock. He needs to find something immediately.
Yeah, but he does have 2 draws to do it off of. Well, 3 draws technically, because he can find something in Notorious's deck that can save him.
So champion math is always funky. That is technically lethal right now if there were no blockers, but as we know, GHP is going to gain a bunch of life off of this Harbinger and the attack.
Yeah.
So 1-turn clock and his own Harbinger. Okay.
So, what do you do here? This is the question. Do you have anything left in your void? No.
So let's see. That gains him 5 life, and then it will gain him another 5 life, which will put him at 18. If he blocks the champion, he will survive. So this is getting kind of weird. You can't attack with that 4/5 because that'll just get blocked.
Yeah.
Or actually, you can. You can because of the Harbinger. Sorry,
Yeah, no, you can. Yeah,
I'm
because
doing the math wrong
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
just
you're
gets
fine.
brought back. I was worried about the 5 life. But
So
yeah, just dueling Harbingers.
And yeah, that's just gonna keep him very much out of lethal range. So unless
Yes.
GHP finds removal right here, right now, which is a possibility because we are in Feln.
So that was a very good top deck.
Yeah,
And we
and
see an
there's an
Instigator.
Yeah.
Well, that would do it if the Black Sky Harbinger did not have lifesteal, because
Yeah.
he's got 12 damage plus that. He can play it, and then this sort of turns into a staring contest. Both people have 4 units on board.
The thing is, if it turns to a staring contest, again, Bradykin has unactivated Bloodcast is available to him.
Yes, Bradykin definitely has the long game, but GHP is not yet dead.
He's not yet dead, but if he has to tempo him, I think he is dead.
Any removal spell wins the game, I think, for both players. So it turns into a top deck war, and yeah, you want to be the guy with the Bloodcasters and the Vera.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so the question is, what happens if you attack? Do you die on the crackback?
You don't actually die on the crackback because you're gaining 12 life.
But your opponent attacks for 26.
You are dead. Never mind.
So.
Okay, no, he goes in. Wait.
So
he gains 12, goes to the. No,
goes to 21, but then he dies to the suffocate because he's trying to chump the Vera, but Bradykin has the suffocate.
I forgot about the blocker, but the blocker wouldn't matter because suffocate exists.
Yes. So this ends up actually giving Brady lethal.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously GHP doesn't know. This is the much better play if Bradykin has nothing, because it sets up his own lethal, because he can block and then attack.
I think he and his team realize that he's not winning this game by not attacking. But fortunately, he is losing this game by attacking.
So this line is low percentage because any unit that your opponent has brings back the Black Sky, and then you're totally done. This suffocate kills them, so any removal spell. But it is the line that sets up lethal.
And there's the concession, so Bradykin will win.
A lower percentage lethal is probably better than an almost certainly going to lose the long game.
Yeah, I agree with the decision. It's just unfortunate it works out like that.
So.
Oh god, that was.
So Bradykin ends up doing a couple nice top decks and grinding out the match. The suffocate that got turned off got turned back on for the critical lethal play.
Yep, and yeah, actually, by swinging with the champion, there he kind of doomed himself because he didn't swing with the champion. Then his instigator would have been out of suffocate range.
Yeah, so maybe that would have been better. Hold back the champion, push in with the life stealers, and then it sort of becomes like an attrition battle. That may have been his better line, but I think a lot of people. That line did set up lethal if his opponent did not have anything. So
obviously, the line of play he took was probably the one that was going to win in the game if any line was going to win in the game. But unfortunately, having one we knew makes our game a bit better.
Hindsight is 20/20.
And also, is looking at both hands. That's pretty like 42-42 or something dumb like that.
So it now occurs to me as we look at this team league screen that I have a winner icon, but I don't have a loser icon. So I don't really have a good way to show that the match is where it is.
That's next week's production budget. Don't worry.
Yes, so we're sorry about that. We're doing some teething trouble here.
It doesn't help that our 2 main broadcast people are not available currently, but currently we're now going into it might be the final game. It's going to be Feln Control versus Darkness's Stone Scar Burn Rally, not Rally Queen, Burn Queen, whatever you want to call it. There are no rallies.
Yes, well, we are down to just a single player left with Darkness on Burn Queen. Darkness, who of course is known for his success in the Eternal Tournament series. Well, we'll see how he'll be able to match up. burn against Feln, especially a Feln deck this controlling, is kind of sketchy. But Bradykin is really high curve, right? He doesn't
Yeah,
have the super anti-aggro bent that a lot of the decks do.
Breakin's pretty high, but so is Darkness. Like, you've got no rallies, you've got 4 Obliterate, 4 Impending Doom. The way you win this matchup, if you're the Stone Scar Burn player, is you go under the Feln. I don't know if his deck's low enough to do that.
Well, that's a good segue. Let's take a look at the decks. Not that the decks are actually ready, as I just pull them up now. One moment. Okay, I just changed the wrong thing.
It's fine.
It's not great. Okay. Yeah, you can talk about them. They're up on screen.
Right, so yeah, Darkness's deck is I think it's either very similar or identical to the Big Queen deck that Unearthly brought to the last week. Was it last week or the week before? I'm losing track of time. Who the hell knows? Basically, Unearthly has a Big Queen deck. It looks something similar to this. You have a very high end where you have 4 Blitz, 4 Impending Dooms. You have the good stuff like Queen and Pyro Knight, and you got 4 Rapid Shots in there as well. That card that's still apparently very good at 2 cost. Apparently, Direwolf knew what they were doing when they were nerfing that. Who knew? Yeah, it's just a bunch of good big stuff. That's just the idea is count to 25, but your 25s are going to be in very big chunks. But again, the main problem was I see with this is that if you're going big, then the final control player goes okay, hold this Black Sky Harbinger.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well, there is a lot of top end out of Darkness's Stone Scar Burn deck. So he has, the 4 Obliterates, the Soulfire Drakes, stuff like that are going to allow him to compete when the stuff gets super high up there.
Yeah, but I just don't know if picking I honestly think Sky Harbinger might just be too much to deal with.
Yeah, if the play gets up there.
Yeah.
So
again, it depends. Obviously, there is a chance that Bradykin just draws his high ends, and then Darkness does just go Ronin, Outlaw, Countess, Queen, win the game. But I just don't think he might be too high on the high end. But again, we'll see. There's no way real worth telling until we get into game here.
As we are now. Yes, we're transitioning into game here. So Darkness is doing the last stand for Destiny. If he wants to win this match, he's going to have to run through the entirety of Destiny's lineup. Sorry, Darkness is on Warcry.
So
well, I mean, we've seen Stone Scar aggro run through tournaments before in similar settings. So it's not out of the possibility, but Felon Control is probably not the matchup that it's looking for.
No, I don't think it's happening. Do you have the hand cow available? I don't. But yeah, Bradykin is here with a pretty slow curve out. He has the Virus Favor, he has the Permafrost, but the first unit he's playing is going to be the Steel Pass, which admittedly is a pretty good unit, but Bradykin just goes, okay, hold this 2-2, which probably gets answered by the Permafrost, and then if he plays an Instigator or a Countess, then that's just going to have, Countess can be answered by a Virus Favor. But I feel like if Darkness does get a good enough draw here, he can just go off. I don't know what's in his hand, unfortunately, currently. But Champion Chaos, that'll do. It doesn't die to Mara's favor, therefore it's good. Bradykin just had to play Power Go, I think. The question is which power, knowing you have 2 champions of Cunning in hand, I think it's probably... Yeah, okay, no, you do need the second Shadow.
Shadow at some point.
Yeah. Get that second Shadow down.
He could probably have played another Primal just in case you drew a banner, and then he would be on track for an on-curve champion on 5. But, that's... Yeah. Power sequencing is always sort of...
Getting the steward out, I feel like, is really important. Because what else are you going to be blocking with early game?
Well, the Varus Favor can come down on the Pyro Knight at some point, not necessarily next turn, but once those impending dooms come out, Bradykin does not currently have an answer.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like Bradykin's in a lot of trouble here.
You do need to play the steward to deal with the champion, most likely.
You can't not play the steward here. As much as you'd like to borrow favor this Pyro Knight, I think you just need to be able to deal with this champion before it becomes a real issue, which is maybe next turn, depending on what Darkness's top deck is, because it's a fire sigil, you're taking 4 damage.
Well, I imagine Darkness is going to start playing impending dooms, and it's going to be...
Yeah, that's going to be really
a little bit
bad,
tougher.
but there's nothing Bradykin can do about that, except from find Primal Sigils.
Well, between his Island's Favor and the Primal Sigil in hand, he does have an activated champion within 2 turns.
That's not... Again, that's 2 turns, so he's taking 10 damage from this champion? Or is it 5? Let me think about timing. It's 5 damage. Plus whatever damage you're taking from other units and whatever burn spells Darkness has in hand.
So Darkness is holding back on trading with that Steward, because it's not like the Steward's going to get out there, and he's really waiting for either a Fire Sigil to give it Overwhelm, or a Rapid Shot to allow him to trade for free, or most ideally, both.
Yeah, getting both would be quite brutal, because that would be like 8 damage to Faye Sten.
Yes. But Bradykin needs to decide now if he thinks that just playing champion on the ground is going to be good enough, or if he wants to use that Vera's Favor plus maybe the Bloodcaster.
I think you do need to make sure you get that out of the Primal Sigil. You do go up to 5. No, you need to play the Island's Favor now, I think. Because the other good news about playing the Island's Favor is you are protected from an Obliterate, or actually, that's the only big burn spell that's been played. So you do get protected off from an Obliterate.
Mm-hmm.
The Bloodcaster is the side effect of I have some spare power, might as well play this unit. But
well, the problem with that particular thing is that the Obliterate is just going to take out a unit now and pop the Aegis incidentally with the Overwhelm damage, and then you're still going to take a whole bunch of damage.
Well, that's 1 damage you didn't take otherwise.
Well, it's the same as the Vera's Favor life gain, right? So it didn't work out super well in your favor, but the reason that he played that is because he wants the activated champion next turn.
The activated champion is definitely more important. It's just nice to not take some damage.
So the Aegis, not the best there. Going to take 9, put him down to 11.
I'd like to say I don't like the A-Space, but then I remember the Steward died, so it doesn't actually matter. That's 9 damage to the face, goes to 11, plays the champion, goes to... I guess he goes to 7.
Well, it looks like he could have played the Vera's Favor anyways, since that's a Felon banner.
Yep.
So definitely champion here.
Yeah, you don't not play champion here. That was words.
But now Darkness has a lot of good draws, because Power gives him an activated Pyro Knight if he wants it.
Okay. If it's a Sigil, he gets an activated Pyro Knight. If it's any fire source, he gets a Overwhelmed Deadly Champion, which is super dangerous and is almost lethal.
Yeah, so the majority of his deck is now live, which is very good for him.
Quite nice. Also, Sulfur Drake is triple fine.
There's another Obliterate, so I think you hold that one for a turn. I don't think you need to get too excited.
You don't throw that now. I think you hold that swinging with... No, I don't know, actually. I don't know if you're swinging with Pending New now or not. It's awkward. You might have to sit on your hands. What's he got?
So I think you can send the depending on how much you value the Fire Sigil and the extra damage, I do think you can swing with the
Space.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's not too bad, because this particular line of blocks does set up lethal with the Obliterate.
Yeah, the Obliterate, that's lethal.
If this happens.
I don't think Bradykin realizes he's going to die here.
Well, it's possible that he realizes that he's dead to Obliterate, but is just playing in the way that is best for him if Obliterate does not happen. Bradykin's a bit on the back foot here anyways, so Darkness will take the first game.
I feel like blocking the Stewards and the Impending Doom and the Pyro Knight was the right play there, because you go to 7, which isn't much better, but you don't immediately die. I'm going off information that Bradykin doesn't have. Whatever. But you just get run over. That's the problem I said. Like, if Bradykin does not get enough of his early game, like his is it like again? Black Sky Harbingers just weren't there. He only had like 3 units that game. I want to say he's got run over.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was kind of an awkward draw for Bradykin. The champions aren't quite where you want to be against the aggressive decks like this. So we're looking back at the games, or at the decks for the moment, as we load into the sideboarding in the next game.
So I don't actually know what anti-aggro tools Brady has. He's got Suffocates. I imagine you bought those.
Well, we saw those extracts before. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, Extract is also quite nice. Might be worth bringing in the extra Annihilate as well.
Yeah, number of good targets. The Soulfire Drakes, the Instigators, the Countesses. So you got a bunch of stuff to hit.
Yeah.
So those will come in. Backlash, that's always a question. Like, how reactive do you want to be?
I think you can't play Witch, can you?
No, I think Witch is too slow, and Lightning Storm doesn't really line up too well against this version, because there are Outlaws, and there are Ronins, and there are Countesses, and I guess Bandit Queen also dies to it, but
I don't hate it.
I'm kind of convincing myself the other way. Yeah, there is a bunch of stuff that it cleans up, but if the Groundbreakers and Statuary Maidens come in, not that I think Statuary Maiden will. Groundbreaker, another Annihilate target, another Suffocate target. So probably just the Suffocates, the Permafrost, the Annihilates, Man, he just brings in his whole damn board.
Groundbreaker's going to do so much work. Because you know what I was saying earlier about the Black Sky Harbinger doing work for Bradykin? Groundbreaker just says no. Like, that could be disastrous if it's get brought in. Especially if it gets the activation on it from the Spark.
Well, I think Suffocates are going to be flying fast on both sides, because Suffocate also kills all the Bloodcasters and Stewards and Harbingers that you're worried about out of the control.
Yeah, I imagine everyone brought in all their Suffocates ever.
And then Suffocate's going to be good. So these decks are going to look very different after board. There's going to be a lot of tune tools from both players to tune themselves for this matchup.
Yes. All right.
And then the question just becomes, what do you come out? Because you can't take out too many aggressive tools as Stonescar Burn. I think Countess might not be where you want to be, with Vera's Favor and Lightning Storms potentially staying in.
I don't hate Countess, but I don't think you get enough value out of having Countess, unfortunately.
Maybe Outlaw isn't good enough in this, because Outlaw gets blanked by Bloodcaster and Steward a large percentage of the time.
Literally every unit in the deck just blanks.
And it also dies to every removal spell except for like Vera's Favor. So maybe Outlaw is one of the cuts that you make.
I'm just thinking, how much
from Bradykin's side. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not entirely convinced by Soulfire Drake in the matchup either. I know that sounds bad, but you're running into Black Sky Harbingers and Champions of Cunning. I don't know if
Death Strikes and Annihilates are going to be flying around, and it's not quite as good. But only Steward really punishes it. So
that's true.
It's possible that it's good enough to keep it, and you don't need to side out too many cards as Darkness. Although you do want to get those Groundbreakers in, and I've only really pointed to 6. For Bradykin, the chops are easy. You take the Veras and you take the Withering Witch, and then as many champions as you feel are necessary to fit the rest of your stuff. And
and putting all yours basically.
So Bradykin's a little bit easier to sideboard for.
Yeah.
And then with Darkness, it's just a matter of what do you value. Maybe the Vera's Favors aren't good enough, since they don't really do anything. They're much better in like aggro versus aggro.
Yeah, but they are still power, and if you are playing like the bigger burn decks, you do want to be able to cast your Obliterates, cast your Drakes. Although admittedly, it doesn't help too much because they are fetching Shadow, and you really need triple fire. But it does get it to 5, so it might be worth keeping in.
So it's not a huge surprise that players or that specifically Darkness is taking a fair amount of time to sideboard, because
they've just gone into Moles now. So
okay. Yes, we are now moving back into game. So they've made their decisions. Obviously, Warcry is with their back to the wall, although they did happily win the first game here, so they got a bit of breathing room. But you want to close out this dumb Felon control deck as soon as you can and get back to your burning ways.
Yes. All right, Bradykin's hand is oh god. I think that was his maul as well.
Yes, that was his mulligan. His first hand had just like 2 stewards and nothing else in it, and was too slow.
You literally can't play. Okay, no, you can play Lightning Storm.
You
You
can
can't play
play
any other card in that hand. You can't even play the Virus Favor.
I closed this. I don't know why that's still up. Yeah, so that's not a good opening hand for Bradykin, and that's a very good start for Darkness, who's got... Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
If you use the second sigil for Shadow, you can, or for Fire, you can get into that Groundbreaker on 4.
Ooh, that's gonna
But
be freezing.
Bradykin luckily draws a Shadow Source immediately, and now his whole hand is live.
Okay, yeah, he's alive in the game now, so it's not completely ruined. Okay, and then the banner. Okay, he's just top decked into
He's good.
every card he needs to live.
Yeah, Bradykin is showing how he's managed to go 2-0 on the day with some pretty timely power top decks that prevent this from being a burn versus no interaction game.
Unfortunately, it's still a burn versus no interaction game because he's forced to playing Wisdom the Elder this turn while he's getting smacked in the face for 3, and also staring down probably 2 Instigators, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably second Instigator, and then since he's going to be able to get the damage in, we're going to see a Groundbreaker.
Yeah.
Maybe an Impending Doom, depending on what
Do
Bradykin
you play the
draws.
Groundbreaker, dude? Groundbreaker is so good.
Well, I mean, if Bradykin plays a Steward next turn, you're not going to want to jam the Groundbreaker right into it necessarily.
Okay. All right. If you can do face damage, you play the Groundbreaker.
Yes.
If you can't, yeah, just Impending Doom, I guess. But, like an active Groundbreaker is a 4-mana 6/6 basically.
And all this removal is nice, but Felon removal, at least the stuff that Bradykin has, is expensive. So
Yeah.
trading 1 for 1 after they've already hit you is not really where you want to be. And you also really don't want to be expending something like a Death Strike on these 3/3s when you've got all those suffocates in hand. So you may just be priced into taking it.
I think if you're Bradykin, I'm tempted to Storm Favor here just to clear up one of these units, get another power in my hand. But
I think that's worse than just using a Death Strike because you're using 2 cards then. What you really wanted was to draw a second Storm.
Yeah, obviously a second Storm would be great. Feeding Time.
Oh, he likes the fast speed of Death Strike.
Fast
in the matchup.
I don't, because the problem with that is your opponent's running Soulfire Drakes.
But feeding time's too slow against Soulfire Drake anyway because it's got charge.
You take the flight, but you do also then give your opponent flying charge units, which I don't know if I'd like doing either. I don't. It's just the best of bad decisions, I guess.
So Darkness did go with the Impending Doom, which is interesting. And Bradykin is now holding up that fast speed Death Strike probably for the Impending Doom.
What's okay? Try to draw something. I'm not seeing it because there's no reason you don't any space play Groundbreaker here. Their strike will clean up the Impending Doom, and then this Groundbreaker just goes unchallenged.
Yeah. So Darkness is looking pretty good.
Yeah, he just managed to find the slip under twice. Yeah, there it is. So, ooh, that's a good top deck. That Steward is so good.
Steward is less good when you see the two suffocates in Darkness's hand, unfortunately.
Never mind, I forgot about those. But yeah, okay, it feels good as Brady to be able to just go, okay, I can deal with this Groundbreaker. No, you can't.
So Vera's Favor doesn't do anything. Island's Favor just gets popped. If Bradykin wants to pop it. And we know he will with Suffocate.
Yeah, it just pops incidentally and just goes face. But 9 damage? Unless he... I know he can play the other Instigator first and then do... I know, because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't do anything, double trigger.
Trigger stacks.
So just 9 damage here, but, I mean, Bradykin doesn't have anything.
The only thing is, if he kept in Witch, he could have top decked Witch Storm to survive for a turn, but he didn't. Or he didn't top deck it if he still has Witches in his deck.
Yes, that's true. If Bradykin did not sideboard out his Witches, Witch would have kept him live. But that doesn't do anything because Groundbreaker, or health-wise, because Groundbreaker is active. And we're going to see a chump with Bloodcaster, I guess.
That's the only way you live, so I guess that's what he's going for.
Now,
what are you hoping to top deck into, though? Because...
Well, you're hoping your opponent doesn't have both Suffocate and Obliterate and gets to take their pick of how they want to kill you.
They don't need... Always look on the bright side.
Yeah. Alright, so Darkness is going to take the first game for Warcry and swing this back a little bit. Bradykin's not going to sweep the series.
Yeah, but the problem is now, as Darkness, you need to now be Big Combre and Stone Scar Burn, Rally Queen, aggro, whatever you want to call it. No, it's not Rally. There's no Rally. Burn Queen. There's just some Stone Scar Ghost Face deck. So now it's just a question of, do they want the mirror or do they want the big bray?
And these
Beyond that,
these winter tags are not doing it for me. All right, so we need to figure out something else for next week. Because now I do what? I like put a winner on darkness. Yeah, so we apologize to the people watching that this is super unclear who's leading during the bracket, but we should be getting into the next match here. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will take a short break while I just organize. The second match is going to be starting now behind this. We'll jump to that after the first one ends. So we will be right back momentarily with Darkness versus whoever Destiny chooses to send out against him. Hello and welcome back to the Eternal Tournament Series Team League, as we are in the middle of a match between Eternal Warcry and SPG Destiny. Destiny leads 2-1, but Warcry's Anchor Darkness has finally taken down Bradykin, who was on a bit of a hot streak, and SPG has elected to send out Hythar against them. Now Hythar is on Big Combre, and I think we've seen Big Combre versus Stone Skyburn a couple times before.
Just a few. It's a pretty infrequent matchup, I'd say. Yeah, no, this is one of the pretty classic matchups of Eternal, I feel. One of the things I do like in Hythar's deck, though, specifically for this matchup, is Spirit Guide. Assuming Spirit Guide is the card I think it is, that gives Lifesteal. Lifesteal is good because it means you gain life, so you don't die to burn.
Yeah, so a very kind of anti-aggro focused big Combre list with fewer, Ascendants and Iron Thorns than you're used to seeing. The full Harsh Rules, bunch of Parliaments, and those Spirit Guides are the most interesting part of it.
Yeah.
Couple protects, so lots of stuff. So it's not a huge surprise that they've chosen to send out Hythar. He's probably played this matchup a couple of times. Hythar, of course, well known for playing Combre, so he's in his comfort zone. Darkness will have his work cut out for him, but we've seen these Stone Sky Burn decks get out of control before, and he does have those obliterates. So
yeah, obliterates are going to be probably very important. If you can get those to go face consistently, then he's probably won the game.
Now, behind this, we do have another match starting. O&D Feather is playing against Team Titans, and we will jump into their match as soon as this one finishes, and we'll keep you up to date with that as information progresses.
Right. So I believe we're ready, unless you can think of anything else we've forgotten.
No, we're just waiting for the players to go into games. We are currently sitting at mull screen, so...
Yep.
They're taking their mulligans, and...
Both players trick their hands, and... Hythar, okay. Here's the problem with Find the Way, right? It's 2 power, and you draw a depleted sigil, so you don't get to really ramp as quickly as you perhaps like. So I feel like it's going to be a bit slow versus the burn deck.
So I have to say, and this is, very little to do with the players or the matchups, but I just want to say that this is my first time seeing the Talier's portrait that you get as a reward for getting level 50 time, and it looks pretty sweet with that sand around it.
Seen 3 premium portraits thus far today. I think we've seen there was the Roland, there was Vara, and now there's Talia. I don't think we saw Caleb.
We saw Jack a couple times as well as this Molad and Nikova. So all these guys knew they were going to be on stream and they wanted to spice themselves up. Everybody's rocking the throne totems. These are guys who like their shinies.
Yeah, no Ikari though. No Ikari yet, I don't think.
Not yet. Worth noting, Hythar's deck entirely premium, very fancy.
Yes. And he does actually get to curve into the Spirit Guide, but he's not going to have anything to give Lifesteal, unfortunately. Unless he chooses to play Combre Healer, which he could do, actually.
Darkness choosing to take the aggressive line of torching a 1/1, which is incredibly aggressive against those Spirit Guides and Valkyrie Enforcers that it could have been best used for.
Warcry triggers can make a unit big enough that it can actually kill stuff like Sandstorm Titan and the such, which I presume Hythar's playing. Yeah,
he's playing the full
4 Titans. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. So, like, being able to kill Sandstorm Titan with a unit is pretty important, I'd say. That might just be worth getting the Warcry and hoping you find an Impending Doom with it. Or a Sulfire Drake, maybe. But getting the Warcry is pretty important, I feel.
It is an aggressive line, though. Hythar now trying to choose what he wants to do. I don't think you just rush out the Spirit Guide with nothing to mentor.
Yeah, I feel like you probably just play the Combre Healer here. You go back up to 27, you get a 2/5 on the table. There's not really an efficient answer.
Chooses to go with the Seraph.
Yeah. This is less good because it dies to... Actually, no.
They both die to suffocate. Neither dies to annihilate. Torch kills both. Rapid shot kills both. So you're really just picking your poison here.
Yeah, you don't gain the 3 life, but you also get a bigger lifesteal target. So I guess it goes both ways. I think you probably have to silence that Impending Doom, right? You don't just let your opponent have an Impending Doom.
Well, with the Seraph play, it looked like he wanted to go for the Seek Power plus Spirit Guide line.
Yeah, I think that's what he wanted to do, but I don't think he's let an Impending Doom sit there. You could just like take the 5, get the lifesteal on the
There, there,
Seraph.
there is a world in which you just use Seek Power plus Find the
Find
Way
the way
to
to get
set
it
up a
to
harsh roll,
yeah.
and I
But
think
I
I
feel
think
like
that's what he's gonna do. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it might be too slow, especially considering there's a Bandit Queen sat in Darkness's hand.
So you're setting yourself up to take a bunch of damage,
Yeah,
but you're also going to clear your opponent's board, and they only had 3 cards at the time that you had there, and you've got a lot of stuff. Plus, it gets those
yeah,
awkward find the ways to start churning through your power base. I just hope that he played the right one, and it looked like he did.
yeah. She did. Okay, so yeah, the Obliterate comes out for what might mops up the Seraph. A space comes in, and I think I was seeing this Titan. I'm inclined not to play the harsh. Okay, just play the harsh rule anyway. I guess now is the best turn you're going to get to play it.
Yeah.
And then turn after you just go Titan. If you draw into a power, you can find the way as well, and you're setting up Ascendant.
He really wants to set up that Titan with the Spirit Guide. The Endurance
Yeah.
means that even though Mentor exhausts, it's going to be ready to go for the blocking,
Yeah.
and just 5 life steal is a lot.
That yeah, it's not insignificant. I feel like there's an argument for maybe not playing the harsh rule there, but that's probably the last time you're going to be able to play the harsh rule, so you might as well play it, get the damage off the board.
Well, the problem with playing the Titan is that if your opponent has an Annihilate or another Obliterate, you're in
Yeah,
far worse shape, taking 7 and
yeah,
dropping down very low. So the more conservative line.
certainly. But whatever. The Diplomatic Seal, yeah, I think this turn he just goes Titan, find the way here. Sets himself up for either an Ascendant or a Spirit Guide or whatever he chooses to do with the massive power he's about to accumulate.
Yeah, depending on what the opponent does. Again,
Yeah.
gets that awkward find the way, you get the Titan down. It's less bad. Like if your opponent spends their whole turn obliterating a Titan and attacking for 4, you're not even necessarily that unhappy.
Yeah, you're not unhappy. You just go, okay, hold this Ascendant. I'm gonna draw some cards.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff that Dark can do here. Like if Darkness does something super sketchy, you can play Valkyrie and force the Spirit Guide. Bandit Queen is going to do exactly 4 damage. Oh no, there's a Torch in Darkness's hand. It's going to do 4 damage and kill this Titan, I'm guessing.
So 5 total. But yeah, Darkness not in good shape. Out of gas in hand, needs to expend the torch here, assuming Hythar blocks, which he may not. But that is very
you absolutely
greedy.
block
That
here.
is very greedy.
No, you absolutely, because otherwise you go to 6, which conveniently is Obliterate range. So you absolutely block here.
So he does have the Spirit Guide and the Combray Healer to bring himself back up.
I think he goes to 11 here. Well, no, he goes to 10 because he takes one off the not Instigate trigger. So
yeah.
I guess he'd just play Ascendant next turn because that gives you a 6/6. Your opponent either has to burn another Obliterate on it or another removal spell, or it just sits there and you have a 6/6, which is pretty nice.
He could go Valkyrie plus Combray Healer if he wanted to take again a more conservative line, which is what he's done so far.
The problem with that is you're not really gaining any value off the Valkyrie Enforcer. It's just a 3/3 flyer.
It silences the Instigator, which is important.
Oh yeah, no, because the Instigator. I thought the Instigator was going to die for some reason.
No.
That would explain that then.
Because again, with the Ascendant line, you are quite vulnerable to a single removal spell. It only goes to 6/6. So if you're continuing to play around Obliterate and Annihilate, deploying 2 creatures and going back up to 13 seems a little bit better.
I think you're going to do that though. I think you probably want the healer more than you want the Valkyrie Enforcer, just because that extra 3 life gain. Yes, it doesn't trade with as much, but it's a 4/4 Instigator anyway. Nothing you have in your hand trades with it 1/1 except the Ascendant. Or you can't. You have to throw 2 units under it.
The healer blocks it, right? So it's just the question of if you're going to play the healer, what's your second unit?
Yeah.
And
I think it has to be the Spirit Guide.
You think so?
Yeah,
you're still looking to get Mentor value out of that most of the time, right?
Yeah, but it's a 3/3 lifesteal. Like you are going to go up, or force something to go onto a Spirit Guide, which doesn't seem like efficient usage of removal, which probably benefits you the most because again you have this Mystic Ascendant in your hand ready to go.
Yeah, and there's also you kind of want to silence Soulfire Drake if that's a card that comes out, but he does elect to go with.
Drake, silence something. Okay, he does elect to go with the silence Instigator play. I don't like this as much, but I see the logic behind it.
He probably wants to mentor the Valkyrie Enforcer with the Spirit Guide and just get his 3 as it does its best mini Black Sky Harbinger impression.
Okay, I guess that works, but
well, there's an Obliterate.
Yeah, there's the ability.
Combra healer, 8 space.
So I guess you just block Queen, take 4, go to 8.
Yeah.
Your opponent's tapped out. You're not expecting any combat trick here. And you feel a lot more confident about playing that Mystic Ascendant, seeing an Obliterate coming out there.
Yeah.
So okay, the line works out in the end. I guess it's the same. Oh no, because you obliterated the Spirit Guide then and pushed 7 to face. So yeah, okay, it works.
No, he needs to obliterate the Combra healer either way, because it's
No,
the
because if he
5/8
plays the
health.
Spirit, I guess if you play the Spirit Guide and don't mentor, then it works out better. But
Yes. I don't know why you'd mentor the Combra healer.
yeah, thinking about it.
Interesting.
Darkness didn't declare attacks. He's still thinking. I thought he was declaring attack. We're waiting on Hythar. So he's just thinking about swinging with the 4/4.
So either way, you get 4 damage. Here, you open yourself up to drawing another Bandit Queen, a removal spell, stuff like that.
Yeah. So now Hythar has the Seek power, has the Ascendant. I think you're either playing Spirit Guide or you're playing Ascendant. And Spirit Guide and the Temple Scribe is probably the line you play if you go Spirit Guide, or you just play the Ascendant because you know your opponent's played a fair amount of removal already. Yeah, he goes with that line of play instead. I guess it doesn't matter too much. No, because he wouldn't be able to cast anything else anyway. I was thinking like you could have cast Seek Power that turn, got an active power.
No, because you got to play it beforehand.
Yeah, no, yeah, I was thinking dumb. But it's fine. Darkness just goes draw go. He's got a 5/2 Cabal Countess in his hand, but that's not going to get through this now 8/8 Ascendant. And there's the second harsh rule if it all goes horrifically wrong. I guess you can go double Temple Scribe, Spirit Guides. Just go wide on your opponent. Because you know they're not playing sweepers. You can get away with this. That Vanquish is actually quite nice. It does mop up this Instigator. Makes your blocks better.
I think here you play the Temple Scribe and the Spirit Guide on the... okay, well, he's choosing to vanquish here, but I think you play Spirit Guide mentoring the Mystic, and then you just say, all right, if this ever hits, you lose the game.
Yeah.
Basically.
I agree with that line of play. I'm not entirely... I don't hate the Vanquish. It just like... Actually, no. I guess it's what else do you vanquish? What are you banking on your opponent playing that you're going to vanquish and not get... Well, this Cabal Countess. Yeah, I guess vanquishing the 4/4 isn't terrible because before that, your opponent's best swinging. Well, your opponent's best swinging out is just a 1/1 that you choose. Darkness considering whether or not he wants to ult this Cabal Countess, which is really his only thing he can do this turn, I think. He's leaning towards that.
With power in hand, I think that this one's gonna wrap up. Darkness isn't going to kill him, and Hythar is going to get to attack in, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah, it's not going to be the game, but it's going to be certainly a very dire straits, though, because he's going to gain either 8 or 11 health, depending on whether he swings in with this guides as well. It's just really dependent on how aggressive Hythar wants to be here. Yeah. He's got 2 redraws in his hand, basically. He can dig through his deck at a reasonable pace here. You know your opponent's not sitting on anything. I think you might be able to just clock him really quickly. And even if you don't, you're still gaining a buttload of health every turn. And Darkness just scoops up anyway. He realizes he can't pull it out.
For all practical purposes, against a burn deck, gaining 11 is winning the game in that position. All right. So let's look at the sideboard again. There was a lot of transformation that could happen last game. Let's pull these out quickly.
Hythar's sideboard has Awakened Students and the Wall of Scorpion Wasp. I was looking at that earlier. I don't know what you bring in a Wall of Scorpion Wasp against, but I guess it's there if you want it. So he's got Awakened Students, I imagine, come in. They are 2 mana 2/2s that get progressively bigger. They are pretty good whenever you draw them. They're not, or at least they're very rarely going to be dead cards. I think you might want to stand together. It depends how much removal you're expecting Stone Scars to be throwing at you, and if all else fails, you can just use it to race them. Again, obviously, same sort of thing. You can just go bigger than your opponent and just say, I'm the aggro comp right now. What can we bring in on the other side of the table? Darkness, I guess.
The Groundbreakers are probably good. Suffocate is a little bit awkward because it's good against the healers, so you want that in. Actually, Suffocate kills all the 3s, so yeah, you're gonna bring in all your Suffocates, and then your
Titan, Groundbreaker. The problem I have with Groundbreaker is, are you going to be able to consistently get enough damage into where your Groundbreaker is actually the 6/6 instead of the 3/6?
I think Saturday Maiden might come in. Maybe you just convert to sort of a value game. Use all those Suffocates to turn your opponent's units into cudgels, and then build out that way.
I don't hate doing that because you're expecting your opponent to go in on the go low with your awakened students and your obelisks and what have you. You can probably just go, okay, I'm just going to play the value game, get these stature raids, get these cudgels on a champion, and just swing for lethal. That is certainly a possibility that could happen. I don't know how much mind gaming there's going to be going on in this series. There's just a very real chance that Highlights goes, okay, I'm just going to take in these awakened students. I don't need to worry too much. I'll probably just take out like maybe a Mystic Ascendant. Actually, I don't know what you take out.
I think he's honestly like Hythar is nearly completely pre-boarded for this matchup. It feels like all his stuff is to go bigger.
Yeah, if you want the awakened students, maybe you put those in. But I don't think there's too much else you really.
Awakened students are usually when you want to trim down to go under a control deck. So I wouldn't expect to see them in here, especially with his large amount of 3s.
Yeah, I just like them just being able to outsize the outlaw, outsize the champion, so on and so forth. Just having a reliable 2-drop that can stop the swingings can be quite nice, I feel. But there is a case of just not playing them, just going, okay, I have these big guys that can just trade off anyway.
So once again, teams are taking some time to decide. Not a huge surprise. Warcry with their backs completely against the wall. If Hythar wins this next match, Warcry will be out of players, and Destiny will win the first match of the ETS Team League. And everybody wants to go up 1-0. There's only 5 weeks of play, and head-to-head results matter for tiebreakers, so you definitely don't want to lose to anybody.
Are we not using opponent match win %?
Well, in round robin, opponent match win % doesn't mean a ton because you've played nearly exactly the same opponents, so it's not the best indicator.
So yeah, we're just waiting for boards at this point. Beyond that, just I don't know what else to say on the matter. Really, it just depends how low Hythar wants to go.
I can report that Kamado is leading over the similar named Komodo in the first set of Feather versus Titans. That's actually Titans Kamado is leading 1-0 over Feather's Komodo. We can take a quick talk about the decks there just to say what's going on. That's another Chalice match, so what's going on. Kamado on Chalice is leading over Big Combre. So we may have time to finish this set and catch up to them before they even finish their match.
Probably should be going to the third game by the time we finish.
Mm-hmm.
So just waiting on the boarding here. I'm looking at the wrong deck lists. Just gonna look and see if there's anything. How much do you like Lethrai Falchion?
I don't like it at all. I don't think it does anything. Runs into Vanquish. It doesn't help you push through.
I imagine you leave Vanquish in and then Lethrai Falchion just dies to Vanquish, which is kind of sad, but it does. Yeah, okay, I think about it for more than 2 seconds. You can put on Sulfide Drake and suddenly its downside is non-existent. Yeah, just yeah, I don't know how to exactly fill the dead air.
That's all right.
Taking their time just to side out here.
So I have to say, Hythar probably quite favored even post board.
absolutely.
The Suffocates and Annihilates are going to need to hit the right targets, and Darkness is going to need an aggressive start. The Outlaw's still not very good here. Outlaw has not
No.
looked super good this particular match set, but
Again, I think Owl's probably one of the cards you're thinking about cutting. The only upside it has, it does have Warcry and it does have Quick Draw, so your combat tricks do get a bit better, but I don't know if you get enough value out of those effects in particular to be able to warrant their position in the deck.
it's usually better when you have those weapons to buff it up. Like Rapid Shot doesn't really care that it already has Quick Draw.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, they've gone into game finally.
Thank God. So we do allow players the time that they need to sideboard, but there are reasonable limits, and this was stretching the edge of it. So we did give them the cue to go when possible. But of course, nobody wants to lose a match because of a missed sideboard. So these things are all talked over at length and what players think are best. Hythar did bring in the students, so I was not.
And also, this is a really good curve for him. He gets to go. I'm thinking about how he plays the power. I think he goes Seat of Progress, Seek Power, and then he goes Time Sigil Awakened Student, Combre Banner, Spirit Guide. You have a Lifesteal Awakened Student on 3 ready to go.
Yes.
Seems good.
Darkness is still choosing his mulligan, so we can't see his hand just yet. Looks like he's hovering over the keep button.
Or I think it's very low. He's got 2 power, but his hand is 2 power, so it's not a terrible keep. He did keep those Outlaws in, which does surprise me quite a bit, actually. I think.
Sorry, kept what in?
The Outlaws.
Oh, the Rakano Outlaws, yeah. Well, you need an aggressive start, right, to beat the deck, so you can't take out too many 2-drops. And wasn't sideboarding quite as many cards. Like, I'm not even sure the Groundbreakers came in, necessarily.
I think, oh, whatever. Okay, but I get against Hythar's hand, though, that Rakano Outlaw is so sad, especially considering Hythar's the one on the play here.
Okay, it looks like Darkness did elect to keep. And that's a pretty good hand, honestly, for Darkness.
A decent hand. He's going to, actually, because he's got the combat trick, he's going to play through this Awakened Student. I might not even get the Awakened Student, he might just get the Spirit Guide block.
Yeah.
But the Pyro's going to come out, that's going to get met with an Awakened Student that's just going to lay it through.
So you probably torch the Student and then suffocate the next thing.
Yeah.
So this curve looks pretty good, but again, if he attacks with the Pyro Knight into the Awakened Student, may just go for the Rapid Shot play if Hythar elects to trade, and he may get the attack in for free.
Yeah, that would be 4 damage to the face. So it's a pretty efficient use of the Rapid Shot there. It just depends how much Darkness is willing to push it here. Because I guess doing 4 off the Rapid Shot, but then you don't have Rapid Shot for like a Titan is the main concern.
So it's just how much do you value your removal spells? And he elects to go for the Suffocate, which is interesting to me since, as we looked at, Suffocate hits all of the 3-drops. So your Torch is much worse against a Combre Healer or something like that. Obviously, it's the same against any of the 3/3s that come down, but it is fast speed and it does combine well with the Quick Draw out of Outlaw and Rapid Shots and things.
Yeah. So Hythar's just going to get a 3/3 each dice Torch, I think, looking at Darkness's hands. I don't think he really...
He really wanted to draw a power. I'm not sure that he did, though.
Let's Groundbreaker. Hey, Groundbreaker did come in. Excellent. I do love Groundbreaker. Yeah, there's the Torch. Space the face.
But still, that's... With this missed power drop, that's... lost ground, and Hythar can play the Combre Healer now, and...
He didn't have to... Yeah, because he couldn't play the Outlaw with the Torch as well, so yeah, that Combre Healer's going to get value, because it's going to get the Rapid Shot out of hand.
And then the next big unit's going to stick. So that stumble costs Darkness a lot.
Yeah. And if he doesn't swing in here, then there's a lifesteal 2/5. I guess he just leaves the Spirit Guide without mentoring someone. Darkness blocks the Ronin and gets a Rapid Shot in return, I presume.
Yeah, you're pretty much... If you make the attack, you got to make the Rapid Shot play. He's looking to get some Warcry triggers down, and he did draw power. So now an undepleted source will give him a lot. And Hythar's just drawn power after power after power.
Yeah, that sucks. You just get the 3/3 lifesteal, that will stick, and I think Darkness out of tricks now unless he top decks one. So he's going to be able to at least get some health back. Or he just forces Darkness to hold back. Oh, there's Annihilate, never mind.
So it just keeps pushing damage.
Yeah. The problem is, though, he's still got 3 units in hand, and he can't play any of them after playing the trick, and that's
Well,
another power.
fortunately, he's drawn exactly as many removal spells as Hythar has drawn cards.
Yeah, literally exactly. That's quite impressive. Hythar goes to 12 even.
And this is what Darkness needs to happen. Hythar has a lot of early game, as he has shown here.
Oh, that's the 5/5 Outlaw. That's the 5/5 Outlaw.
And yet, a Titan still blocks all of this. So Darkness is just...
block. Actually, no, it doesn't block all this. If he plays Titan and Darkness top decks power, he can just go that Groundbreaker. But that's Temper Scribe, which definitely dies to everything. Hey,
oh wait, there's no board anymore.
Do you have to play this now, right?
You don't need to. You can.
But if you don't, you take 4, go to 9. Yeah, and that's.
So,
okay, maybe you could have held off for a turn.
Playing it was quite likely.
Yeah.
Especially since Hythar is. I mean, his parliaments are live.
Yeah, his parliaments are super live. His all of his high-end's live, to be fair.
And Darkness doesn't have anything.
Darkness stuck with 2 4-drops and an Obliterate.
The old Battle of the Awkward Draws.
Hythar trots out the Marshal in his turn, so that just means dies to the Suffocate.
Yeah, trying to avoid giving an extra Warcry trigger.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's blown out for it.
So this game started out super nice.
And then turned into the Battle of the Bricks.
Yeah. Darkness still has a lot of gas if he can find any power. Yeah. But Hythar has gas too.
Hythar has a lot of, like, because he still has a lot of power in his hand, so Mystic Senate is pretty good.
But
Ironthorn is just a 5/5, so it's not terrible.
It's possible he took those kinds of cards out. You know, he did bring in the Awakened Students, and we've still seen a bunch of the 3s. So he may just be like playing aggro Cambrai, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. So he's swinging without committing the Suffocate. So I think he's holding the Suffocate for something. He's got the Pyro Knight down anyway, and he's getting pushed by this Valkyrie Enforcer.
He's kind of worried about Seraph now that Hythar's on 8 power, and there are a lot of things that Suffocate kills, and it's not like getting the non-Warcry is gonna do anything.
Yeah, I'm just.
So he's probably not too unhappy about trading there, since he did have the follow-up play.
So the question is, do you burn Suffocate now and hope your opponent doesn't draw the Seraph, or do you just...
I think if you didn't draw power, you basically have to.
Oh, I just
keep
so
okay,
I guess...
he did draw power. So probably Impending Doom.
Yeah, no, I was thinking you set up the Groundbreaker, but Impending Doom is just so much safer, it's not even funny. Yeah, Impending Doom is absolutely the play here. Beyond that, Hythar just... If you just go with that, Hythar desperately needs to find a Parliament or a second... actually, no, because the second Valkyrie Enforcer would only give a vanilla 5/5. That's still pretty terrifying, given your board state.
Awakened Student, 3/3 with the power.
It might be a hold. Again, okay, it depends. Okay, so he's basically saying I don't have Mystic Ascendant in my deck with that play, because there's no way you don't play. You play that power, you have Mystic Ascendant in your deck.
Yeah, probably does not. I imagine he dropped all the way down.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's just Champion of Chaos now sat in Darkness's hand. I'm imagining he's just going to crack in here with the Impending Doom. You know your opponent's got literally 0 cards in hand. It's just an ace base.
Alright, so he's setting up a Groundbreaker, looks like.
He's going to force out the double block, so I guess he just trot out the Champion at this point, right?
That's a jump, actually.
Well, yeah, but it's like, you still doing face damage, so you just throw the Champion of Chaos. Next turn, you guarantee Groundbreaker, pretty much. I failed to see where Hythar wins this game.
He just had, well, interesting that he played the Champion, because he could have played no, he didn't have Spark on Groundbreaker. Never mind.
Yeah, Groundbreaker. That's why
we silenced the Pyro Knight. It didn't have Overwhelm anymore. You're right.
So I think Hythar just vanquishes this Impending Doom, goes to 7, stares down a double damage Groundbreaker. needs a harsh rule.
He's one off dead to obliterate if Darkness ever draws a power.
Yeah.
But yes, Hythar definitely on the back foot.
So yeah, there's the Kraken. Here comes the Groundbreaker. Unless it's harsh rule, that's not harsh rule. That's a Sea of Progress.
That'll be game. So going for the understatement of the year award, a bit of an awkward draw for Hythar. Gave Darkness some life, and we're back to 1-1.
Holy shit! If Darkness runs the bloody table, I swear to God.
I mean, I think people love Stone Scar nowadays because Chalice is the deck that people are not such a fan of. So there are some cheers for that. And of course, there are a number of Eternal Warcry fans out there that would like Darkness to take it back and show them what's what.
So they're just going to dive straight into game 3. They don't need to sideboard more. Hythar. Oh, I don't know if you boarded them in or out, but he has a Reality Warden in his hand pre-mulligan.
So Hythar's board plan appears to be we'll just toss all our big stuff in there, all our blockers.
Yeah. We'll just play aggro-combrate, and that hand is pretty good, I do say so myself.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I think Darkness is probably going to have to mull that hand. I don't think you keep it. You only get 3 power and it's double influence, so you don't get a champion activation.
We did see him get stuck on 3 before, and it slowed him down immensely. Hythar would have had very few draws if Darkness got up to 4 power.
So yeah, he's just going to keep that hand. It's a bit awkward. I think he's going to struggle, especially against Hythar's one of the Scorpion Wasps ended up in his hand.
Well, I mean, it blocks Groundbreaker, and it blocks Impending Doom, and Impending Doom seems to have been a fair problem for him. So.
Yeah, it's the one of Scorpion Wasp apparently is going to do some work this game. Words I never thought I would say. So yeah, here comes the Pyro Knight. I think you just take that too. You're going to get a 3/3 next turn and a 2/5 to deal with it. You don't need to worry about trading off yet. There's a safety harsh rule. Hythar is feeling pretty good right now, I think. He's 1 power off it, so he's got a couple turns to get there. And, yeah. Should be okay for Hythar. Yeah, there's the combo healer. Darkness, he's thinking about throwing the Instigator out, it looks like.
Darkness
I'd be more inclined.
Looking to draw some power, but we'll probably need to use the Vera's Favor here.
Yeah, I think I prefer the Vera's Favor of the Instigator. Just because, again, and especially with that Power Knight now in your hand, you do actually get to use up all of your power by doing that line of play. You have the champion in hand, you have the Groundbreaker and the Impending Doom. You'd want to be able to get up. He's going to A space first. I think he's going to try and get some value out of this favor. I think it might just be worth taking 3 here, just off the Instigator and take out the Power Knight, maybe? Because you have the other combo healer in your hand. No, he's going to get blown out by his Vara's Favor. To be fair...
Well, he's going to trade with the Vara's Favor.
Well, okay, yeah, but if he waited a turn, then he wouldn't... He would still have a very big Awakened Student. Well, so it's kind of sad.
There's a lot of different combat tricks that the Darkness can have between the rapid shots and things, and you need to figure out what to play around. So Darkness, sigh of relief that he bit.
Yeah, I just feel like keeping the Awakened Student is really good, though, because it does get very big, and Darkness would have to commit something a bit more important to it to deal with it, shall we say.
No, agreed. Darkness could have taken 2 there, but...
Yeah. By the way, Hythar now has 2/5, so it's not all feels bad. And there's the Impending Doom, dice to Wasp. Oh, there's a Des Martian as well. So Hythar has options here. Yeah, so I'm imagining Darkness is just going to swing with this Impending Doom, not expecting this Scorpion Wasp, because why would he? Then again, holding back with the Impending Doom does seem like the wrong mistake, the wrong line of play. Even...
Yeah, you're trying to get your Groundbreaker active and punch through these combo healers.
Like, you're either swinging with the Impending Doom or you're not swinging with the Impending Doom, and one of those seems like the wrong play. Yeah, he's going to swing in and presumably hide that. Yeah, there's the Wasp.
But it's not the worst place for Darkness. Now, there is a harsh
Oh, it's
rule
not.
that resets the board, but Darkness can play his...
The world's saddest groundbreaker.
No. It gets the spark from the Instigator trigger.
Oh yeah, it does. I forgot about that. Oh yeah.
So,
Huh.
still works out for him. And it's getting to be a board where...
Okay, that's pretty good. I think if I'm high there, I'm probably looking at this harsh rule thinking I should probably do this before this groundbreaker becomes an issue, because a rapid shot on a groundbreaker is not pleasant, shall we say?
You don't need to... You can play a little bit looser with your life total against these iterations of burn decks. Without Flame Blast, there's never going to be 8, 9, 10 damage out of nowhere. So 6 is really the number you need to worry about the most for Obliterate. So if he wants to, sort of bait in the Groundbreaker, maybe use the Marshal to make it chumpable and just force Darkness to commit more of his hand to the board, he can do that. He doesn't need to run out this harsh rule just yet.
I feel like Groundbreaker is really terrifying. Because it is basically a 6/6 for 4. It's pretty good. Oh, well, that triple block is needed to kill it, isn't it? So yeah, he's going to take out the Marshal. And 1 damage face a piece. And there's the Reality Warden. So that dies to exactly Deathstrike. I can't think of anything else.
I actually don't think there are any Death Strikes in the list. Pretty sure.
Because what I saw, I might have just been misremembering.
No, you're thinking the Found list. There are no cards in the list that can kill Reality Warden on their own, except for Rapid Shot plus creature.
Okay, yeah, unit. But yeah, so that would do it. But yeah, this Reality Warden's...
Champion of Chaos, I guess, technically. Deadly unit.
But I think you're probably not trading a Reality Warden for a Champion of Chaos unless you have to.
Yeah, in terms of removal spells, there's nothing.
Yeah. There's nothing that just go. There's no clean answer, shall we say?
And I mean, you're investing a lot for that Reality Warden, so.
Yeah. He didn't play it.
No, probably setting up a harsh rule then. Gonna slam the Reality Warden after.
I guess that's. Yeah. So because I don't know what you're playing around by not playing the Reality Warden there. Unless you're expecting Impending Doom 2 Electric Boogaloo, perhaps, but...
So Hythar's done a couple of nice double and triple blocks. He did that triple block on the Groundbreaker, and he did double block here. So he's not really taking too much damage, and he's not under much threat.
Yeah, it's surprising. I'd expect him to be a bit low with the amount of stuff Darkness has played. That's probably why I'm surprised, expecting this harsh rule to come out.
Yeah. Probably gonna see...
I don't hate just because you're not playing the harsh rule. You're not on the previous board. You're not playing it now, so I don't hate just passing and just holding both this Parliament and this. Reality Warden.
I like playing Parliament more than Reality Warden, and I don't really feel like you need to play Parliament. Like you can wait the 2 power.
Yeah, you can just wait. Yeah,
you're at 25, so.
So I guess if you're not harsh ruling or doing anything on the previous turn, why would you do it on this turn? Like, what are you expecting Darkness to do? Because now he's tapped out as well. He can't just throw another countess at you. Yeah, he just passes. I don't always... I guess he's just hoping to just assemble enough birds just to go, okay, here's lethal. So Darkness does get the 6th power. He does activate the Pyro Knights, and the healer will go straight under it.
That block says harsh rule.
Yeah, that's harsh rule incoming, I think. Unless you just feel like Reality Warden, you're not expecting a hard combat, yeah, just play the harsh rule. That's fair.
If you were going to play Reality Warden, you would have blocked the 3/3 and just taken 6.
Yeah.
He said, so, alright, fine. 2 units.
There's harsh rule. Darkness reloads with a champion, I guess?
Champion instant. Oh, no. Impending Doom.
That's even better because it doesn't die to this Reality Warden.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Don't get too excited.
So just Hythar just top decking as Big Hombre does to exactly what he needs it.
Well, he's trying to make up for last game's power. Okay.
Yeah.
Power. Okay. Power. So.
Yeah. So Titan pass, I guess, is the play. You
probably the cleanest line. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to play Parliament on 7.
Yeah, Darkness doesn't really have any response. I guess he just has to play champion and just hope that Hydar's willing to trade, which I somehow doubt he will be. Yeah, just play time. Nothing else to really say on the matter. The good news for Darkness is he does get to throw out the champion and the instigator next turn, but that's not really good news because he still needs to kill the Titan. And then the reality warden that follows it. So okay. I don't know if I like this. I don't like this actually.
So, my primary guess about why he played the Reality Warden here is he's hoping to draw a power, and then he can play Titan and Parliament and basically lock up the game here. So he's taking 5 damage now, but he's playing a threat that can't be removed, and he's setting himself up for a really good turn next turn.
But you also open yourself up to a groundbreaker with that line of play. You
Yes.
also open up yourself, because unless you're playing the Titan next turn, you do also open yourself to double obliterate.
So it is an aggressive line, but which is interesting because Hythar's done a number of conservative lines, especially in game 1. But it's possible that he feels like if he puts the Reality Warden down, he can start getting on the aggressive, and the Titan plus Parliament are going to back him up on the back end.
Also, I guess like going Titan, Parliament into Titan is that you can use your Reality Warden as the blocker instead of the Titan, so you can keep it alive a lot longer. And that is a pretty good top deck if it's not a power. The silence will be able to take deadly off this champion, meaning it's not a threat. So
it does play around Annihilate if that's specifically a card you're worried out of Darkness. He does have 3, and he hasn't really had a great opportunity to play it yet.
Yeah, there's a silence on the deadly. So now, as Darkness, you've got a vanilla 5/5 and 3 3/3s basically. Yeah, I feel like Darkness is praying for an obliterate right now, or annihilate, just some way to get rid of this Titan so we can just keep pressuring the air.
Obliterate is either of those are lots of damage. Oh, Rapid Shot.
Rapid Shot doesn't do anything. Because I feel like if you're swinging with anything, Hythar reads it as, okay, he's got a combat trick, I'm going to throw something under the bus here.
Rapid Shot is really good if you can also draw something to remove the Titan. Because then you just deal so much damage with the instigator triggers and whatnot.
I
think just instigator pass. Maybe not even instigator.
I don't hate swinging with one of your instigators, just because if he blocks, then you can rapid shot. If he doesn't block, you can push for 3 damage and hope to draw it to some obliterates for lethal. Beyond that, you're not doing much.
So the question then is that are you more do you want him to block with the reality? Well, okay, so if you attack and he blocks the Valkyrie Enforcer, you just trade. You don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. So then do you want him to block more with the Titan or the Reality Warden? Because you have no other way really than Rapid Shot to remove the Reality Warden. But you want that Titan out of the way to unlock the air?
Removing either of those is pretty okay, to be fair.
Okay.
Like, you kill the Reality Warden, your units are still grounded, but more of your cards are alive. If you remove the Titan, you can start swinging with Impending Doom, which is just as good.
So probably play Instigator, swing with 1 Instigator.
Yeah.
Not even an Instigator. Swing with the Champion of Chaos.
I guess that works too. Yeah, swinging with the unit you care about less.
Yeah.
Swinging with the 3/3.
That's our recommended line for Darkness here. Holding back is also possible. Bandit Queen is a card in his deck that works out well with having a lot of units in play. But Hythar does have that great Parliament, so power is live. And
I still feel like even if the Queen... Oh, wow, okay.
Okay. Now we have to do some math.
What? Okay, you get the block. So I guess you get... I don't like...
Alright, so 3/3... 3/3 presumably blocks 3/3. Titan blocks something. So...
So that's the question, do you... Now, Darkness has the impetus to decide, do I want to kill the Flyer? Because he made a pretty smart block there. He blocked the Impending Doom with Reality Warden.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes Rapid Shot on the Impending Doom, then it's still a grounded 5/5 at the end of the day. He's thinking about buffing the is that buffing the
So rapid shot on champion is not lethal. He chooses to go
Yeah, it's
for the
not lethal,
impending
but just
doom.
push enough damage that it might like obliterate torch would be lethal.
So
But
that
no, he
does
just killed
6
impending doom.
damage.
Oh wow, that does a lot of damage. Yeah, I forgot about double instigator doing 1 billion damage.
Well, there's a harsh rule, so you're probably going to play that.
You just swing and play it. Just
Mm-hmm.
no point in not swinging.
Actually, that puts him to. That'll put darkness to 2.
No one. He lost one of his instigators.
Yeah, but he takes 5, and then
Does he take 5? I think you read this harsh rule. I know you don't read
Can
the
you
harsh rule.
afford? Can you afford to block that? I don't think so.
No, you don't block it. I'm thinking he doesn't have Titan doesn't have insurance for some reason. Now you probably just have to take the 5.
Yeah, and then the harsh rule puts you down to 2.
Yeah.
Now he can't play Parliament as well.
He can't do that.
Darkness,
he can play it next turn.
Darkness,
and even if it's only 1 owl, it's still lethal.
Darkness is live for an obliterate rip for lethal. Soulfire Drake doesn't quite do it, but that's also in his list.
No, Soulfire Drake does it.
Oh yes, because he takes 1 off of the instigator trigger, so he's got a bunch of 5-drops that he can just play and win the game here. We're not seeing it slammed. Pass turn, not a good sign. Draws power.
Oh, it's double owls.
It's
double owls.
So let's cheer for
the power was lethal.
It's Annihilate.
Yeah, Annihilate kills an owl. He still has an owl at the end of the day. So
what's his second draw? Is it an Obliterate? Yeah. Obliterate does it.
Obliterate does a removal by its entire.
Stone Scar Drake does it. He passes.
He's passed.
Never a good sign.
He didn't concede though. Oh,
Countess doesn't do it. He's dead.
He's fine.
Second Parliament, yeah, Darkness.
Oh man, that was
so Hydar takes it.
That was an ending.
Nice harsh rule.
That was Did Darkness board out his Obliterate?
No,
I don't remember seeing an Obliterate.
We
saw
at least 1 in game 2. He still has all the Obliterates in.
I think I'm just losing my mind. It's been 3 hours for one team match.
Yes. Hydar stands strong despite a weak game 2, and Darkness is unable to quite come away with a win. He was live for an Obliterate rip, but couldn't get there in 2 draws. Yeah. So, congratulations to SPG Destiny. They take the match up over Warcry. And we will be taking a short break while we get into the second match, which will be Feather versus Titans, which is already in progress. Titans is actually up 1-0. The Chalice deck did eventually take down the big Combray deck and a big grindy mirror that you guys fortunately didn't have to see. And as soon as they get a break in their games, we will hop down there. So, we will be right back.